Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Overwatch Path to Pro. We're in EU Open Division, and we are in the winners' finals here between Northern Lights and Samsung Morningstar Blue. One hell of a clash of titans, and it's going to be a really exciting series that we've got ready for you today. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the teams, Blank?
I'll tell you about one of the teams. I'll tell you about Samsung Morningstar's Blue. So this is the junior team. So Samsung Black was what they expected to go ahead with, but turns out Samsung Morningstar's Blue, they're the big boys in this case. We've got notable names like Lime Pro, Spanish World Cup member, and Dance as well. So you got some cool players coming in here. And we were talking about this beforehand, the Northern Lights, they've got this heavy dive comp going on, and they're jumping into Lime Pro's Brigida, which has been so far extremely strong. We've not seen so much of these guys coming up through open division coverage. We see more of them in the playoffs, and so far, damn, Samsung Morningstar's Blue, they've definitely shown that they are a top team.
Will they be able to draw the line in the sand against Northern Lights, who are very heavy in the dive? Panda, can you tell us a little bit more about their lineup?
Well, they're led by Latex, and to your point as well, Rook, Northern Lights, yes, they are very much so happy to stay in the dive composition. Kind of the same to the point that we just saw in our previous matchup as well. Very dive-heavy compositions. Latex, though, did list that he prefers to play Reinhardt, so you never really know how they're going to adjust to the new compositions, but definitely the one to watch out for. He creates so much space, and when you don't mitigate his space denial is when the damage really comes through on way of by his Zarya player and off tanks as well. Now, Casper as well is a fantastic DPS player, been flexing off across the entirety of Open Division as well. So it's always going to be exciting, again, to see how they work their way around the dive compositions and the heavy tank composition as well, coming from Line Pro on Samsung Morningstar's Blue. Very heavy on the Brigitte comp, means that a dive composition certainly can't make a big sustaining push.
Now, Samsung Blue are a team we've actually seen a couple of wins come out for. How do you think they're actually going to fare against Northern Lights? Because they have had a couple of notable names they've taken down. Isn't that right,
Blank? Relatively untested coming through the open division. As they've playoffs, yes, they've had some huge names that they have taken out. This is something that everyone was discussing, is that through their open division round 1 till 10, they were relatively untested and kind of just smashed all their opponents, but they didn't go up against anyone too heavy. So as they were coming in as the first seed into playoffs, people just thought they were going to roll over as soon as they start hitting some of these hardest teams, but they did not roll over at all. They stayed stalwart, held off the tides of these players coming through, and now here they are in the winners bracket, ready to go against Northern Lights, who have been touted as one of these top teams that have been watching out for. So this could go either way, Rook, in my opinion.
It is quite the challenge. Northern Lights, we saw yesterday, looking pretty fantastic. They did actually have struggles on their DPS. How do you think they're going to struggle with their DPS against Samsung Blue, Panda?
Against Samsung Blue, I mean, again, you got to be careful of that Brigitte coming up from Line Pro. You can see that they're comfortable to flexing over to the new meta, and to Blank's point as well, these two, I mean, we didn't expect them to be the juggernauts that they are. I mean, to a certain degree, we were speculating behind the scenes that these two teams were going to make a bulldozing headway towards these winter brackets in the earlier weeks, but not to this degree. I mean, Line Pro has really, again, to sound like a broken record, has really made a showcasing on Brigitte so far since it's been allowed in open division. So I think Northern Lights, being the dive heavy composition that they are, is going to have a hard time going in against that. In previous fights, in previous castings that we've seen them as well, they've had a hard time continuing on through their mid fights, combining ultimates, continuing under pressure. Again, that's where Brigitte stands strong, pushing that mid fight further, elongating it to say about a 30-second fight, which is a long time, to about 45 seconds, which is a lot of communication and can desynchronize your entire ult economy as well. I think Northern Lights just needs to play to their strengths, stick behind their main tank of Latex, let them do what they do most, maybe tap into that ultra instinct kind of type deal and let their instincts run wild.
Well, yeah, it might be a little bit of an awkward matchup for Northern Lights, but in general, how do you feel about their raw talent, Panda?
Their raw talent, I mean, they wouldn't have made it this far if they didn't have the micro ability. I mean, we've seen teams all the way that have ex-pros and everything else in between that have been able to make a certain steadway into these tournaments a little bit stronger than the next. But it's when we get into the I guess when you add in the mix of being this late into a tournament and the pressure of it being on of what's on the line. I mean, you're in trials, yes, but you're really playing for that Covenant spot coming out of these winners finals. Their ability is perfectly fine. It's whether or not they're going to be able to deal with the pressure coming out of the experience from all these other players. Although on the side of Northern Lights, not all too much tremendous experience coming out as well. So I would only expect to see heavy microplay coming out. I expect only the most Covenant Reinhardt v Reinhardt battles. If we get to the right map choice as well, I expect a lot of good sniper opportunities coming out as well. I'm just into a lot of good Overwatch, and I'm sure these two teams are going to give us that speculation today.
For sure. So, fine. Other than Line Pro, is there anyone we should really focus on Samsung?
Dance is probably one of the guys you need to look out for. He previously played on Kongdu, on Seer, and this guy is a support. But like I've been saying, these entire series, support players, they play a massive role at the moment because if they go down early, these Death Bowl type of comps, which heavily rely on Brigitte staying up, you have the Reinhardt go up. Once one of these main guys go down, the rest of the comp starts to crumble. Like it feels like every single player on the team is linchpin, and once you lose that bit of advantageous utility, things start to go downhill from there. So having a Zenyatta with a Transcendence, which is a huge defensive ult in there, is going to be extremely important. Having the Orb of Harmony 30 HP per second on one of those DPS that might be going around, because we know Nanjini likes to go on the Genji. Having healing orb on him and relatively getting to just ignore what he does and just let him go around, because Genjis, they need healing. But if you can just drop an Orb of Harmony, let him go do his thing, and then do your own thing as Zenyatta, you're killing two birds with one stone there. Because you gotta go out, use the disco ball, present that wherever it needs to be, get those heavy right clicks off, maybe pick off one of the widows or snipers that's peeking out for a little bit too long, get orbs of destruction straight to the face. Not a fun time for them whatsoever. So he's gonna be one of the guys you need to look out for, because those disco ball placements, they're gonna be important.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and to branch off that too, Luft is also a fantastic main tank for this team as well. Always been very sticking true to the knit and grit of Winston as well, regardless of Dive being killed off to some speculation. Really good Reinhardt player, really good coordination coming through for Luft to open up Dance in the background to pop off, if you will.
And these supports, as you said, these Zenyatta has been super impressive to watch. I've been really excited having watched the last game. We saw some great frags coming out from them on occasion, obviously, but for Dance, I'd be really excited to see what they get up to. So, gonna quickly ask you too, just before we wrap up, who do you think is gonna win, Blank, and why?
I'm probably going to go ahead and say this might go to Samsung Morningstar's Blue. They've played so insanely well so far. And I was actually talking to Lion Pro earlier on, and he says that they don't actually play that much ranked because they feel like it destroys team synergy. So this is a team that focuses on being a team. So when we see they're going into this comp kind of play here, we could see something absolutely amazing come out. And synergy is something that we've been talking about the entire time. And once a team can really come together, put all the hands in the middle, a bit of a cheerleader a stance there, something magical things can come out of that.
As long as you don't break out the pom-poms.
Oh yeah, that's not very effective in a fight.
And you, Panda, who do you think's going to win?
I'll probably still stick with Northern Lights. They are 10-0 coming in here. I believe they only have maybe a few map losses to their own name as well. They've been an underdog thus far coming into this tournament, so I expect them to stick true behind Latex again, being the foundation for this team to hold them all together. Like Glue, I want to see them push Samsung Blue out of that Covenant first position.
Certainly very excited. We will be passing over to the casters. To our casters today, Kenobi and Rapture. Gonna hand it over to you guys. Really excited to see this match go on.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. We are covering winners finals here of the Open Division Season 2 European Open Division playoffs. So I'm really excited to get into this one. I'm Rapture here with Kenobi from the desk now on casting here. Kenobi, you ready for this matchup?
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a good one as we see these two kind of heavy hitters in be battling it out for a chance to get that grand finals +1 map advantage once they get there. So, really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this are right now the two top teams in playoffs right now, Northern Lights versus Samsung Morning Stars Blue. And both of these teams have had quite the path through playoffs. Northern Lights hasn't dropped a single map in their 3 previous sets, taking out the likes of Big Nice, of Cord Narwhals and Golden Sausage. And of course, the Samsung boys are no slouches, even though they've had some close sets. Probably the scores are maybe a little more deceptive than what you'd think. This team has been playing very well, taking out Augmented Authority. They've taken out 1 point, Team Clash. So this is a team that also you definitely can't be underestimating. And it's no surprise that the two of them are the ones remaining here, Kenobi.
Yeah, and Samsung, it's interesting with them. They were kind of like Samsung Morning Blue. Were like, as Blank mentioned on the desk, they were kind of like the other team besides Samsung Morning Black, and
Mm-hmm.
Samsung Morning Black is now out. But Samsung Morning Blue has definitely proven themselves. They kind of had this rap of having like a very easy open division regular season, and now they've gone up against Augmented Authority, like you mentioned. They beat 1 point, so now they're definitely tested, and probably deserve to be in this winners finals here.
Absolutely. And of course, these teams also have some history. I believe if they haven't run into each other in the Go for Overwatch Cups, they've definitely gotten close. Both of these teams have certainly participated in them. So they've been around in the EU scene in the tier 2, tier 3 arena for quite some time. I'm happy to be able to cast both of these two teams again because they definitely put on some amazing sets. This is, speaking of which, a best of 5 like the other ones are. It'll be best of 7 for grand finals, and whoever wins this set will be earning their ticket to one of those 2 grand final slots. But also this determines, seeding going into trials. So even though both of these teams have committed to contenders trials, they have earned their spot, they still got to see who's going to be on the, higher or lower end of things going into trials as they take on the remaining contenders trials teams. And of course, 1 point in Augmented Authority, who have qualified through losers bracket. So congrats to them as well. But this should be a pretty exciting one as we go into our first map here. It is going to be Oasis. And it'll be an absolutely exciting match here, Kenobi. I can't wait to see how these two teams dunk on each other.
Yeah, and this we're starting it off really fast right into Oasis. That map where it's kind of like Control is those maps where your teams feel each other brawl on the point. It's the one where it's more mechanically placed. I'd say there's not really too much objective play. It's kind of just the point, and then you're just fighting it out. You're just battling each other. So we're definitely going to start off really fast here, and we're going to see these two teams just duke it out. Definitely, since we're going to be starting on University or Gardens rather, we're going to be maybe seeing some Farah play coming in. So interesting to see what these two teams are going to bring out.
And I think one of the most important things to look at this too is which team is ultimately stronger on control, because it is the tiebreaker. So if these two teams go to 2 maps each, it comes down to another control. And if you already have that advantage coming out of map 1, you can pretty much have the set sealed up before you even go into the 5th map. So this is a big one to figure out which team can be stronger. You might be a little weaker on the other game types, but this is the only game type you can see twice possibly in a set. So it's important to establish your dominance early here. Not only take this as a way to feel out the other team, but also, set the tone for the rest of the set.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what these teams are bringing out here. It's kind of like a mishmash of comps. Sometimes we see the Sombra, especially in EU. In our last map, we saw both teams bringing out the Sombra, but here it looks like we're just seeing a regular old pharmacy combo coming out. Let's see what Casper can do on this Farah, as it looks like we are going to have just a pause. Ooh, a little bit of a DC there. So just they're just teasing us a little bit. We're not going to get in just right away. A little bit of a tease there, seeing what the comps are going to be bringing out. It looks like it's going to be a pharmacy versus that McCree. So interesting to see how that hit scan is going to be able to deal with that Farah.
Yeah, it was Caster's curse, man. You're like, oh, let's get ready to check this out, and then
always it happens every time.
Looks like they've gotten back into it, so we'll see a little bit of a mix-up. I wonder if that'll change things. Yeah, round 2, take 2 here. We'll see. We don't have to do another one of those snappers. We're going to go back into it here on Oasis Gardens. So neither team really kind of showed off what they were going to do anyway, so I don't think that'll change too much here. But you did comment how we're not seeing the Sombra, and that was definitely a niche pick from earlier. So no surprise that we're not seeing that pretty uncommon pick not be chosen here. But it would be interesting because there are a lot of good, drop strats you can do with Sombra to get that edge, to get that EMP. And a lot of the time, with an EMP against you, the only response to it is just to have better positioning or have a Sombra of your own dropping EMPs. And that's what it came down to last time. I don't think it'll be coming down to it this time. But this is where the teams can feel each other out, see what's going to work, see what's not going to work, and kind of give the other team a little bit of an first impression in this potentially long set.
And it looks like we will be seeing Line Pro on this Brigitte if these picks are going to be staying as they are. And the desk mentioned Line Pro's Brigitte throughout this whole tournament, throughout Open Division for Samsung has been absolutely huge. So look out for that to be a big factor in this matchup.
Well, here we go, Kenobi. It's time. Map 1 finally breaking out. Hopefully not another DC, but I have faith. I think we're good. I think the servers are hanging in there. And thankfully, Samsung is on the blue side for this one. I'm sure that'll change. I know it will, but they're going to be on the appropriate side, of course, in the red here. Northern Lights, they have taken up that high ground real estate up above to try and give themselves a bit of an advantage. And, tell the other team, all right, now you got to come to us and see what you got to do here. The control point is about to unlock. And we have the Hanzo from Riverboat along with Kasperi on the Farah, but a big one on McCree. Going to be definitely looking for the two of them. And that Fair also in the air from Kasperi. Going to be doing a lot of damage. Take some shots and trying to dodge out this McCree who's peeking around from behind the wall. But right now, just the ground forces here of Samsung have bullied their way up onto the point and condensing together. And now demeching this Diva. Leo has to fall back and get slaughtered. Line Pro just bludgeoning them against the wall. And then a reversal shift there from Luft will get the pin. And that'll be enough for Samsung to bully this team off the point and just steal out that first capture.
Yeah, it seems like Samsung just understands exactly what they want to do here. They're like, okay, you have a Farah, it does not matter. We are going to try and win the ground game here with Line Pro on the Brigitte getting that huge pick onto the Diva immediately. Kasperi is going to pull out that barrage and get Line Pro, get another as well. So maybe the Farah is proving its value here.
Yeah, the other team still picking up a couple kills here, so it's almost an even trade. It's big one looking for this Zenyatta outside the point, trying to make sure he doesn't get in here, but he is Discord, has to watch out, gets a shot, but the Mercy pockets of Zenyatta. Meanwhile, is Riverboat with a Storm Arrow to Najin. And that's going to force out a self-destruct as the team's trying to salvage this fight. It's not going to find anybody, but Exarath does the job, gets rid of a big one. Here's a Dragon Strike coming in deep from Riverboat, trying to make the difference. Actually does give Samsung a little bit to worry about, so they get off the point, as well as some deaths coming their way, so it will be a capture here for Northern Lights.
I really like that Dragon Strike coming out from Riverboat there, understanding that, they're trying to play the stall game on the Samsung Blue, and, it just zones them off the point a little bit so that they can finally take the point back into their favor. Don't let them stall for, 30, 40, 50% and get it in their favor. So I like that Riverboat is able to understand that, my Dragon Strike isn't only for kills, it can also be used as a zoning ability.
Line Pro popping that rally. They're going to try and rush their way right in, but Northern Lights is waiting for them at the doorway, taking away that welcoming mat. They're going to jump up to the high ground. There's the pop Primal Rage there from Latex. Going to try and stall this out as long as possible. An Earth Shatter, though, it's only going to find Latex, but it might have been worth it to try and get rid of that Primal Rage. Barrage is going to get sucked up and barrier. Then Dragon Eddy takes him out. A big scam there, and they get their Jawbreaker. And now the Valkyrie getting popped out from Zekker, trying to get the res, able to sneak it in, and Kasperi's going to rise back up from the dead. Here's another Dragon Strike, this time from Riverboat again. And that's going to be deep, now just separating the blue squad here. Samsung trying to get back together, but no kills for either team until Riverboat finds Najin again with the Storm Bow. Here's a self-destruct off the point, not going to find anybody. Zekker does, unfortunately, SD off the point. Now about 65% here for Northern Lights as each team scrambling for kills and almost trading evenly. And this is great for Northern Lights because they have control of the point.
They're the control of Line Pro is just going into the back line right now, killing all the supports with the rally. Is able to get Exarath and Riverboat down there, and Kasperi is going to have to retreat. So great play from Line Pro with that rally, just, bludgeoning the two squishies in the back line to death. And that's the scary thing when Brigitte is running at you. It's very hard to kill her, especially I don't think Riverboat had his Storm Arrow cooldown at that moment, not able to break that shield or do that damage. So great play here from Line Pro, really showing his worth with Brigitte.
Absolutely, definitely a character you have to respect, but still a ways away from their next rally, so that might make the difference going into this fight. Exarath will find Luft in the meantime. There's Riverboat, and it gets sucked up by Dragon Eddy. The defense matrix was literally right in his face, and he threw it off anyway. High Noon, and then gets killed. Self-destruct finds nobody. They're just ults getting thrown down and no kills to see for it. And now Line Pro battering away at Leo as there's another barrage. Dragon Eddy trying to suck it up, but gets demeched with the help of Riverboat. Picks him off. The Baby Diva goes down. Line Pro then battering around Kasperi gets the kill. Primal Rage forced out from Latex. Going to force off these three members here of Samsung off the point, and it works out. And Zekker has enough room to get the res as well.
Yeah, the res comes out, and it was a great play there originally from Kasperi to get the big one off of that McCree. That High Noon could have been absolutely deadly, but the rally did come through, and that's a lot of armor for the side of Samsung Blue and health right now with that sound barrier as well.
Ooh, big one was trying to take care of this Pharah, but left the rest of the team to kind of get killed a little bit there, and he doesn't get away with the kill. The Pharah's still alive. Kasperi then finally gets a little bit of that same medicine that big one was doling out there, and he can't handle it. There's no one on the point. Samsung is nowhere to be found. And unfortunately, Luft is just a few steps away, but not close enough. So it'll be Northern Lights taking Gardens. They're up 1-0 here on Oasis.
Yeah, and it seemed like, Northern Lights maybe not, or rather Samsung Blue maybe not respecting Kasperi on this fair just a little bit. They did have that McCree, but maybe it might have been better to, pick up a soldier, something with a lot of mobility, because it seems like the tanks and Kasperi in general were just abusing McCree's lack of mobility, and the big one was just not able to get those picks onto that flying Pharah there. So unfortunately, they are going to lose that map, but they definitely can come back in the second.
Definitely doable. Of course, this is Control. It's not over until it's over. It's still anyone's game until we see that victory and defeat screen show up. But it's still big. There's no time to be downloading your opponents for too long here. Like you only have so much time, so much leeway, so much of a margin of error to give the other team before they just take this set away from you. Like you don't want it to slip by just trying to get comfortable on the first game. So it's up to Samsung to come back here and try and give Northern Lights a run for their money as we head over to City Center here on Oasis. And the compositions have more or less stayed the same, though big one now on that Widowmaker instead of the McCree. Let's see if it makes the difference too. More or less still the same thing here for Northern Lights.
Yeah, Kasperi is up on the high ground here, playing very safe, understanding that there's a Widow, and playing behind this wall, trying to shell out as much damage as he can there with his Mercy. And now the dive's going to finally come in. Latex going in huge right now, and it's just fall apart here for Samsung Blue. I really like the safe play coming out from Kasperi. They're understanding that I can't get picked here. Just play safe around this back wall and don't let the big one knock me out of the air.
Yeah, that was the right move, and of course it was all facilitated by Exarath picking off Line Pro. So once the dive saw that there was no Brigitte waiting for him, they just go right in and get the cleanup, and they only needed 2 kills to convince Samsung not to take the rest of the heat. So they do get the complete capture. Now they're now a quarter of the way to taking this stage of Oasis. We'll see how Samsung can respond as they move up. The Morning Stars taking that left flank. They're not even going for an entire flank. They're just going to go back up towards mid, right into the maw of the Dragon Strike, and Dragon Eddy cannot get out in time. Riverboat will demech him with that. And still, yeah, Samsung, again, biding their time here, going to make sure they're up entirely, including the mech itself, but they're actually going to try and get rid of big one here, and they're going to pay for it. Najin goes down, Dragon Eddy goes down, and yeah, it looks like Samsung, again, kind of, peeking out a little bit here and there, and Northern Lights is all over them, smothering them with another dive.
Yeah, and the big one just hasn't been able to get those sightlines on Widow so far that we would like to see, coming out from him. It's also to the fact, credit to Northern Lights here, they're playing very safe and understanding that they can't give the sightlines to them. They're playing around the walls, playing around the pillars, and if Widow's not being able to get those shots, she's kind of losing that value, especially against Dive, where at the end they're just going to dive onto her and just make her worthless.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many big picks from Big One. You're right. There hasn't been enough opportunity for him to really do so. He's constantly jumped on, not giving great sightlines here. Now we're going to see a little bit of an aggressive play from Samsung. They see now, and they have gotten Northern Lights a bit split up here. They're going to go right in. Kasperi trying to salvage. He gets pocketed, goes for 2, gets 2 with the barrage. Big One and Dance going down. But isn't going to be enough to win the fight here. Kasperi has a monkey on their tail. Here's a self-destruct from above, but again, does not connect. No big self-destruct kills just yet. Here's Riverboat went for the Dragon Strike, but Bree stunned him, but it didn't stop the Dragon Strike from coming out, though. Riverboat will still go down, but not the biggest dividend paid off. Almost there just in time to stun the Dragon Strike nonetheless. Najin finding with Latex and big one on Kasperi. Extra though with the 1.5. Getting rid of Najin and Dragon Eddy's mech again. Now looking for some more, looking for another plate here. Nextrath will find the Baby Diva. Leodos will get back into their mech. Zekor helping out with the pocket, and Luft unable to do much. Has to try and dive right in, get rid of Zekor. Zekor is discorded, but Dance will put him down, steals the kill away from Luft. Overtime ticking away, and Samsung might have just done it to be able to still stay in this Kenobi.
Yeah, definitely. At the 11th hour, they're going to be able to take this map back, and that was some great play coming out from Dance, and we finally were able to see the big one start to get some picks on that Widowmaker. Was able to get a couple of nice body shots there to finish those kills off, and I really liked what I'm seeing now from the big one. He's going to be able to get this high ground now and these better sightlines for this Widowmaker, so let's see if he can do something now that he has this positioning.
That's exactly what they need. They need this something to get done. They need this leverage from the Widowmaker. Get a pick or 2 and go right in. But all it's doing is drawing the attention here of Latex, going right in. And it's actually going to be Extrath and Riverboat going down. Latex kind of leaving them behind. And Latex, realizing what they've done, going to sacrifice themselves to the gods and reset. Kasperi is going to get punished for that, staying alive too long, and gets cut down nonetheless. Now 36% and counting here for Samsung Morningstars Blue.
And now that you have this Widowmaker on the high ground there, it's going to one of the tanks to dive onto the big one there, and unfortunately Latex just leaves the rest of his team, and Samsung Blue are like, okay, well, we're gonna just dive in now, we're gonna kill your supports and your Hanzo as well. So this Widow being up here, very good positioning coming out from them, and let's see if it's going to be paying dividends.
57% here for Samsung Morningstars Blue. They're going to tickle the point a little bit here, along with Northern Lights, who are now making themselves known on it. They're going to push up a little bit, trying to get rid of Luff, forcing him to use the Primal Rage. Riverboat trying to just throw down arrows down his gullet, but Dragon Eddie finding Latex in the meantime. Caspier throwing some shots down from above, but has to worry. His team's going down behind him. It's a slaughter. Najin finding Extrath, and Leo going to reset there. And Caspier has to fall back. They don't have a lot of time to give up here.
Oh, and those 2 staggers on the pharmacy is going to be just about 10 seconds. They're not going to be able to get back onto the point. And this is probably last fight territory, Rapture. A lot of ultimates here. Oh, and Riverboat goes down. Another huge stagger for Northern Lights, and that's really detrimental to their final push.
Dragon Eddie has their number, and then the self-destruct finds Exarath from downtown. That's a big one. The Dragon Eddie just stuffs the missiles right into Latex's face as you discorded. That was just a huge wall put up there by that former StarCraft 2 pro, Diva, and Dragon Eddie at the helm. Now it's 1-1 here for Samsung Morningstars Blue and Northern Lights. They have found some life. They're beeping away here, and now it's going to be going to a tiebreaker round on Oasis to see who'll be up 1-0 in the set first.
Yeah, and this is the map where it's just going to be an absolute brawl on the point. As we said, you know, we're going to see the Reinhardt area most likely just swinging away with that Reinhardt hammer. The bubbles are going to come out. Probably maybe see some Hanzo as well. But I think if you're Northern Lights, you're kicking yourself a little bit. You were doing so well to get to that 99%, and then you kind of just let it fall at the end there. Unfortunately, weren't able to regroup, but they can definitely bring it back here.
Yeah, I would say for Northern Lights, like historically, Kasperi loves to go Pharah and like will try to stay on it as long as possible. So not surprised that they're going for the double DPS here. They're still sticking with that modified dive comp. They have Diva, they have Winston, and they have Zenyatta and Mercy. So they're going to be looking to cross some big distances and kill some targets quickly. Latex, though, going to be going for some early harassment, a very deep individual flank, and Line Pro is unable to punish. Caspier is the one going to be able to get first blood here, finds Najin. And that's going to give them just a little bit of room to work with, because now they don't have to worry about either support Extrath fighting the Moira dance. So just like that, Samsung Morningstars Blue cut down before the fight ever got started. Northern Lights takes the first capture.
Yeah, that was a huge pick on the Najini there from Kasperi, and he was able to keep shelling out that damage. And, you know, I would like to see maybe, yeah, they're going to big one on McCree here, so that's a good pick. He's going to be able to try and have a better time dealing with Kasperi on this Pharah.
Oh, and a rapid rush from Samsung Morningstars Blue going inside towards the White Room in Luff that pays off, finds both supports, and that's a big one. Nice swing there, and then big one picking off Caspire. Just like that, a 6v3 situation, and Northern Lights get split up between that inner room and then the back mid area and the point itself. So Samsung, a very swift capture off of that nice right side push that gets them onto the point quickly and gets them some early kills.
Yeah, you mentioned it. They were able to split up the supports from their tanks. There was no peel there, and Luff was just able to swing freely through both of the supports there, cleaves them right through. And when you lose both supports like that, it's very difficult to win that fight. And they're just going to go in right here.
Oh, a very proactive barrage from Casperi. All they get, though, is a shot from Dragon Eddie for their trouble. Riverboat, though, responds with 2 on the Dragon Strike and then a 3rd on the Storm Arrow. And that's big. Nice 3K there, going right in, now facilitated by the Transcendence. Riverboat with a 4th, going in for more. Riverboat is hungry, but I think
he's really hungry.
Yeah, really hungry. Only time for about second serving, 3rd serving. I think that they've had enough. You gotta save some food for everybody else, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's not ready to share the wealth. They're just pocketing him right now, giving him that damage boost. But unfortunately, something that happened in that last fight, Dragon Eddie had to use, or I think he just misclicked that Graviton there. Probably didn't want to have used it. Would have liked to have kept it there. Not going to have it for this next fight. Only Luff's Earth Shatter remains.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, but the teams are still not that far off. The gap still hasn't been widened that much here by Northern Lights, but they're certainly looking better. And not only that, have a just slight ultimate advantage. There's an Earth Shatter, but it gets bubbled. Luff not going to find anybody there. And now with the Valkyrie being popped, there's a lot of chain healing and damage coming down from Zekor. That's definitely going to help out. But Latex, unfortunately, still not enough to survive against Luff's pin. Here's a Dragon Strike, not going to find anything. And Zekor is going to slice and swoosh right in for the res. Here's a self-destruct from above. Can they get out of the way in time? They are. No one gets caught by that self-destruct. Leo has to try again later. Now Extrath finds the kill onto Dance. 82% here. Northern Lights just has to continue to stagger, but they're losing numbers, so their ability to do so is drastically going down. And then, of course, that means the Mercy has to go across the point to keep Latex alive, and though Latex gets the kill on Big One, they have barely a presence on the point. Riverboat also goes down now in the Doomfist, but Northern Lights able to squeeze out 94% at the end of that fight.
Yeah, Northern Lights able to, get 94% good stall from them, but this is a very scary position for them as you the alt economy here for the side of Team Samsung Blue. They have the Galactic Dragon combo. They have Dance's Transcendence. Xreth is going to have a Transcendence of his own, so he might be able to counter this Dragon Strike combo.
Yeah, the Dragon Surge is definitely a win condition here for Samsung Morningstar's Blue. There might not be much of a response. Here it is, the Dragon Strike coming through, 3 caught in, but the kills are not coming in enough. They're just going to get raw kills outside of it. While Caspier found 1 kill off the Riptire, but certainly not enough to turn the tides here. Samsung Morningstar's Blue picking it up.
Yeah, we're going to see a replay here of that Graviton, and who needs play of the game when you can just play some vanilla Overwatch. They're getting those kills just by yourself, your own mechanics. Great Graviton there coming in. They were just, a little bit telegraphed, but they understood that, they are just really clumped up together here. If I can hit this, it'll be a very good Graviton. The huge shatter coming out from left here.
Finds only Leo though, so could have been huger, could have been fatter, could have put on some more weight, but we're in EU, not North America, so that's probably why. And now Transcendence coming out from Dance. A Raging Monkey has Discord on them though, it's Latex, and they're trying to clean him up, but he's just squeaking right by him and trying to focus down these squishies. Luft's still alive, getting battered around a little bit, but Big One now on their tail, or at least helping him out, has their back. Now going to dive right around. Here's another Dragon Strike. Riverboat just throwing it down, see who it sticks with. It actually gives Samsung Morningstars, they have to fall back a little bit to get away from it. And now a Dragon, just a Graviton coming in, but the kills finally just in time on the tail end of that Graviton will be confirmed. Samsung Morningstars Blue trying to make it happen with what little they have left. Overtime going down, and it will be enough. Samsung Morningstars Blue taking it in a nice reverse sweep here, on Control. A 2-1 victory here on Oasis, which means they have the 1-0 lead in the set.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to be a series that we're going to have here, Rapture. It was a very close map, 2-1. What more could you ask for? We got the 3 maps there, got to see a bunch of interesting compositions as we're going to see the Zenyatta play of the game here. Not something you see too much unless you're, Jay Jonak on that Zenyatta with those right clicks, but, really interesting maps so far coming out from both teams, and a lot of varying compositions coming out from all of them. We saw the classic that we see, the Zarya, the Rhine, the Brigitte, the Hanzo. We saw some dive, we saw some pharmacy, so a lot of variety coming out from both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of ultimates that really swayed the battle. Of course, the Dragon Surge combo is what we were looking for a lot. Even that last Dragon Strike, which really didn't super hit pay dirt, you still see how much an influence it has, because it does some damage as they're trying to get away. It separates the teams, and it allows for the individual kills to be followed up on and attained. So it really, especially in this meta, a lot of it does come down into, and especially on that map too, good Gravitons, good Earth Shatters, especially good Dragon Strikes, and an ultimate like the previous meta like Junkrat and his Riptire, which was like the dominating DPS ultimate. Now we saw very little Junkrat, if any at all. Hanzo is really replaced as that DPS character here. Of course, Tracer and Pharah still making appearances as control map characters. And we saw 1 Riptire from Caspier. It was not even close to enough to be able to change the fight. It was 1 kill, and that was about it. So that's how the mighty have fallen, right? People are like, oh, we got to nerf Riptire.
I'm not too sad. I'm
not
sad.
either. It's just funny how everyone was so worried about Riptire, and rightfully so. That ultimate is really good. But it wasn't the nerf that necessarily got rid of it. It was just, we just made an even better character than Junkrat and a better ultimate that combines with another ultimate that's super common now. So, you might want to watch what you wish out, what you wish for, you never know.
Yeah.
It's like the monkey's paw. You might get your wish, but you're not sure exactly how.
Yeah, it's like, let's just make Junkrat, but you can aim now. You don't have to just randomly, and you can do it far. It's great. This Storm Arrow, the best thing since sliced bread.
Sliced bread's really good, man. So
that is true.
But
you got to make those PB&Js. PB&Js with.
See, you're speaking my language, man. You're speaking my language. We are going to be getting into our next map, hopefully soon here. It will be Dorado going up. Samsung Morningstars Blue, still in the blue, which I love that.
That's
Big
a good
fan.
Yeah, that's the good color coordination we got. That's
what I'm saying. I love it. Northern Lights going to be sticking in the red. So Samsung Morningstars Blue, they're up 1-0. They need 2 more maps to take this set and move on to grand finals. It's up to Northern Lights to see if they can tie things up here on Dorado. And then, of course, it'll be our assault map and then it'll be or a little bit of hybrid, a little bit of assaults, a little bit more control. We got a lot more on the plate here, so we definitely have some more Overwatch Open Division playoffs coming your way. Thank you all for tuning in with us. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast here today so far, and we definitely have much more of this set coming our way. Samsung Morningstar's Blue, Northern Lights. Honestly, I feel like it could have gone either way. Samsung, they did the reverse sweep, which was hype. What was it about Northern Lights that you feel like was kind of missing from them, and at least like towards the end of the set?
I feel like I think after the first map where Lights was able to win and getting to that 99%, I think Samsung Blue kind of just woke up a little bit and we're okay, we're gonna get to this other. We just need to position better. And when they had the Widow go to the high ground, they were understanding the composition just a little better. They had to feel out maybe just Northern Lights just a little bit at the start there, and then they kind of just downloaded them slightly at the end of that fight. So I think Samsung Blue really adapted well to the playstyle coming out from Northern Lights, and they, they're sticking tried and true to the line pro on this Brigitte, who, as we've said so far throughout this tournament and throughout Open Division, this line pro on Brigitte has been absolutely phenomenal so far. So I think they're just sticking to their guns, and they're like, okay, well, we know that they're probably going to be playing some pharmacy. So if we win the ground game with Brigitte, with Ryan, with Hanzo, with Zarya, we can probably just snowball that into the fair and not being too valuable.
Yeah, and that's a big point too, because we saw multiple times how when Northern Lights saw that line pro was down, like kill from like Exarath or something, they went in immediately. They did not hesitate. They knew like, okay, the Brigitte is down. We're going in. We're not going to miss this opportunity. And more often than not, that worked out for Northern Lights. But yeah, Line Pro was such a big factor, the X factor in a lot of these fights here. So no surprise that they were, the target, definitely the VIP in terms of target, most valuable prey here in this case. So we'll see if Northern Lights can kind of change things up, make sure that they get these targets down quicker. Samsung Morningstar's Blue, though, I mean, they definitely have some motivation. They have a little bit of strutting their step here now. They're up 1-0, and they're going to move it on to our second map here. Finally, Dorado. So we'll be going 2-0 here for Samsung, or will it be 1-1 for Northern Lights? We'll see as we move on to our escort map of the day here, Kenobi, and it will be Northern Lights. Of course, they're in the red, which means they'll be on attack first.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to come out with. Are they going to just play this pharmacy that we've seen Kasperi come out so far? Riverpoat's probably going to be on this hunt, kind of like that semi must pick hero in this current meta, just so much, can shield break, can just get the picks, can just do so much damage. So I think that's definitely something we're going to be seeing here as we're going to be going to Dorado in game here. What a lovely view we have of Dorado. Like, look at the beach and the boats. It's just so nice looking.
I'm so jealous because I wish I could be chilling on my boat right now, just hanging out. They're probably having some nice like cocktail parties, having a good time, or they're probably watching this game on Broadcast.gg.
We could only hope,
because they have some sick Wi-Fi out there. Or they're probably stealing Wi-Fi from one of these houses that are right on the edge,
Yeah, Overwatch is in the future, right? They've got like boat Wi-Fi now, probably.
That's true. Yeah, they probably
boat 3G.
I think they have like boat like LGE or something. So I'm about that. 5G LTE. There we go. Nice. I like it. Or I'm assuming one of the people that own those boats also live in one of these many houses here in Dorado. So that should be a pretty hype set as we go into Northern Lights. Of course, you guys are all watching here on Broadcast.gg, your coverage here of the Overwatch Path to Pro Open Division Season 2 NAN EU, and we're here for EU playoffs. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to follow all that good stuff. Broadcast.gg, bringing a platform here for teams to get exposure, for the best in the community, for casters and many more to get some experience here. But of course, we're bringing you the unparalleled coverage of Open Division playoffs, where a lot of great matches are going down here. And right now we have winners finals between Samsung Morningstar's Blue and Northern Lights, and it is map 2. We have Northern Lights breaking out here, no surprise, with the Dive, Farah, and Hanzo composition up against that Samsung Morningstar's Blue. They're going for, again, the Brigitte and the Zarya and the Reinhardt with that McCree.
Yeah, so we're going to have the McCree instead of the Widow, which is an interesting choice. Usually we'll see Widow on this map able to take some nice sightlines here and get that high ground. Will probably help against Kasperi, but if the big one can get a couple of picks onto Kasperi here, that'll also be good. And it looks like Kasperi is just in the backline now, dealing so much damage, just shelling out, free farming. Already at 64% to that barrage.
Yeah, that's definitely something you got to worry about here, because other than Dance on the Coalescence, there's not much of an ultimate bank getting built up here, but Dance with the kill on Extract, that's definitely going to help things. The Coalescence is going to be ready in a jiffy now. Kasperi, though, with the barrage right up above, and there's very little to do against that. A 2K on the barrage, the big one in Line Pro, feeling the absolute brunt of that. So now there's the cue to go right in. They're trying to clean up Luft here, but Luft is swinging away, keeping his distance. You better respect it. And he gets 2. Zekor goes down as well as Riverboat. So what looked like a nice opportunity to capitalize off the barrage turns into a shutdown for the defense.
Yeah, it was a huge coalescence out actually coming out there from Dance, able to save Luft on that Reinhardt. You know, sometimes in solo queue I see Moira's that ultimate for DPS, but Moira right here using it for that defensive capability. The healing is just so huge coming out from that coalescence if it's focused on one person. Luft was able to stay alive throughout that fight.
Oh, Dragon Strike coming in. There's no defense matrix waiting for him. Gets 2, and the big one, as they were throwing down the high noon, check what time it was, but they were looking at their wristwatch and not what's in front of them. Riverboat gets that, gets another one, gets another. Dance also going on, gets Dragon Eddy. Riverboat, someone put please someone do something about this guy.
Riverboat popping off right now on this Hanzo, able to cancel out that high noon coming from the big one, and that's unfortunate. You know, if you are going to be using that high noon, very careful, or someone's got to protect him, because Riverboat is just going to be able to just click that head right there, able to, you know, stop it from doing any damage. And, you know, Riverboat, as we mentioned, you know, this Hanzo seems to be a comfort pick for him. We see this, you know, combo of the Pharah and the Hanzo coming out here from the line, so they're very comfortable on this setup.
Absolutely, and a Riverboat on that high ground going to be something to worry about here. Of course, Kaspir also has that air control too, so it's all be up to these ground forces, bolstered here by the sound barrier, to push up, but there's no one there. Everyone's jumped up onto the high ground, so now they're gonna have to kind of pay the price of throwing down that sound barrier. Here's the transcendence from Exarath. Kaspir finds Luft out of position, gets the barrage kill. Now Line Pro trying to help out the rest of the team. They get forced into the small house. So now this is great for Northern Lights to try and clean them up right here. Dragon Strike gonna go right through, but it's not gonna find anybody entirely. You're gonna have to use a storm bow that is, to get an arrow kill on the Dragon Eddy.
Yeah, just some unfortunate also issues there coming out from the side of Samsung Blue. You know, Luft only getting one this Earth Shatter, and the Graviton completely there. Definitely not what you want to see with those two, you know, huge CC ultimates. As it just looks like they're gonna, you know, the fight is still pretty even so far, and it looks like the cart's just gonna be sitting in the middle. Northern Lights gonna have to retreat just a little bit, but they're gonna come back soon.
3 minutes and change left on the board here for Northern Lights. They've gotten halfway through the map now. Going to be rounding this next corner here, and so far no immediate resistance from Samsung Morningstar's Blue. They're just waiting for a little bit. Now they're going to push in though. They've gotten their cue, they're going right in, but Kasperi finding Dance as the rest of the team kind of left them behind there. And they get killed there, so now it's a 6v5 situation. Dragon Eddy gets the D-map, and now it's 5-on-5 as Dragon Eddy finds Kasperi. Don't worry about Riverboat though. They're upstairs putting some shots down, jumping back down there too, as Zekor finds the res onto Kasperi. Now, Line Pro battering around Exarath, they get shut down, and Big One now going to try and not to be outdone here, looking for some more shots, and going to roll right up, has Kasperi in their sights, but has to fall back. The Dragon Strike ushering them back towards, away from the payload. Now Dance with the Transcendence. A high noon from the McCree. Will Big One be able to find anything down their sights? Looks like everyone has fallen back, and justified as well. Northern Lights does not want to get caught up in that, and none of them do.
Yeah, and you know, High Noon didn't really get any kills there, but it was a good job, you know, to stop the bleeding and stop the pressure just a little bit. Zoned off the rest of the team, and now they can kind of regroup if you're the side of Samsung Blue, and just, you know, to get that game plan, make sure you're all set up, as Kasperi has this barrage right now.
Holy. Ooh, Big One finding Kasperi down their iron sights. There's Earth Shatter though, gets 2. Exarath and Latex get put down, but the Transcendence comes out on the reversal. Riverboat also getting the D-Mac on a Dragon Eddy. A self-destruct lands on the payload, but not going to find anybody. And still, the defense, Samsung Morningstar's Blue are holding very stalwartly right now.
Yeah, Riverboat is in the Line Pro is in the back line. They're trying to get the supports off of them, but a huge Diva Bomb, 2.5K. That's going to put an end to this push, and they're going to have to regroup here, Rapture.
Yeah, that was just nasty right there. Dragon Eddy just serving it up. Puts a little wrist on it, puts a little English on it, and you can see right there, everyone was so worried about, you know, trying to follow up after that Dragon Strike or work it off of it, that you find the Pharah, you find the Hanzo, the two characters that are probably looking for some kills off that Dragon Strike. Instead, go down, they get shut down, and now with a minute left, Northern Lights having to go back to the drawing board once again, but they haven't changed up their composition whatsoever. 0 changes for Northern Lights. They're going to keep going at it until it works. And here's a high noon now for Big One, gets rid of Kasperi very quickly. Not going to let him hide back in and duck under cover. And then Line Pro bashing Riverboat, forcing a 6v4 situation as Latex trying to get away. 6v3, and Northern Lights shut down again.
Yeah, Line Pro is just every right now. He's in the back line, he's on the high ground, he's just being just a complete nuisance right here, basically playing a flanker Brigitte right now. He doesn't care about healing, he just wants to get those picks onto those squishies right there. He's able to get Riverboat off of that high ground and stun him, and just he had no idea what was coming. They need to really find a way to maybe keep Line Pro in check here, because if not, he's going to be able to just get into the back line and just wreck everything.
This is desperation mode here for Northern Lights, but they're getting pushed up upon by the defense. Now they're the aggressors here. Riverboat getting stunned, but gets out just in time. Now here's the self-destruct coming out from Leo, and he finds Luft at the back end. All right, that might be the cue for Northern Lights to go right in. Extra topping Transcendence. Gonna usher everyone up onto the payload. But here's a self-destruct over the bridge into the back line, but it doesn't find anybody. A bubble also in the way. Riverboat kills Dragon and Latex finding a big one. Here's a Dragon Strike. It's a 6-4 situation. Finds another one, and then a second. Now Ginny and Line Pro both going down. Overtime ticking away, and the payload, once they get rid of Dance, will be Samsung clear. Looks like they've gotten their phones at Verizon this time, and now Northern Lights will be moving up here. Overtime ticking away. And that should be enough to get to the second checkpoint.
They might come out. No, it doesn't look like. Luft's going to charge away, so give this and just live to fight another day here. As I do like this switch that came on with Kasperi putting onto this Widow. You know, if Brigitte isn't able to flank around you, Hanzo and Widow, the double sniper here composition, is going to make her basically, you know, not going to give her as much value as, you know, something where she can flank around. So it was a good pick, but unfortunately Kasperi dies to Riverboat.
And Luft sneaking an Earth Shatter under and through the payload. Only finds the Lucio. Probably not worth it, but we're going to try and salvage off of that nonetheless. As they really, right now, the goal is just for Samsung to eat away time from Northern Lights. So if anything, this works, even if the kills aren't coming all the way. They are anyway, nonetheless, but they're just really trying to distract Northern Lights from the fact they only have 50 seconds remaining here, Kenobi.
Yeah, they're going to have to go very quickly to get on this point. They have probably 1 or maybe 2 fights left. They're going to go right now, commit the Transcendence to it.
Yeah, and Extrath always ready to have that proactive Transcendence here, but might have been a little too early. There wasn't too much gained off that, except the headshot onto big one from Kasperi. Here's a Dragon Strike, and right through it, the self-destruct. Dragon Eddie, I don't think they saw it. It was covered up by the Dragon Strike. Dragon Eddie takes 2, takes over. They're the better scaly beast out here. And now 20 seconds remaining off of that. That's big for the defense right now. And now they're staggering Northern Lights. This is awful. The offense needs to get something going.
Yeah, they might not even have a chance to get back onto the point. Zekor is going to have to commit Valkyrie to get onto this point, even if they have enough time to do that. Kasperi is going to switch over to that Sombra and try to get onto the point. They need to go right now. The dive should come in right now. They're in overtime. They need to get on it, and they just barely managed to.
Dragon Strike coming through. It is the big one. Right down, line drive down mid, and it's separated Northern Lights for a little bit. Latex and Leo still on the point. Finally, they get pocketed by Zekor, had to pop the Valkyrie. Riverboat, Luft gets rid of him. Overtime ticking away. Here's a Dragon Strike from Riverboat from downtown, cutting right through the payload, and it's again separating Dragon Strikes, paying off very well for both teams. And right now, it's definitely what Northern Lights leaves, giving Riverboat enough time and energy and space to get 2 kills. Latex also finding Dance, but they still gotta get around this next corner, and certainly the defense will be getting back here from spawn.
Yeah, last fight territory here. Latex does have that primal rage, so he will be able to stall and maybe, you know, push some people away, but Luft with this Earth Shatter is going to look for a huge one here.
Yeah, Luft looking for it, posturing just a little bit for it. Hasn't dropped the shield yet, though. Doesn't want to give it away too much to Latex here, who's waiting out the bubble. He might be able to pop the Earth Shatter the other side of this bubble, and the Transcendence. Leo getting puts down Line Pro. But watch out, this Primal Raging Monkey is purple. Latex has to be careful how deep they go in. Now, in the high, the EMP gets dropped down, and Kasperi finds Luft. That could be the huge difference maker here. That also throws down the Self-Destruct, a Dragon Strike. Desperation, big one, but there's barely any bodies left out the point. They have to get back there just in time. Leo gets slipped onto the payload. Kasperi with 2. That EMP was big, and they're going for more. Extrath trying to get rid of Line Pro. They're discorded, but they're staying alive just in time until Zekor actually puts them down. Overtime still ticking away. Luft trying to get back on. A self-destruct with Najini, ushering them onto the point. Overtime was almost down, but Dragon Eddie and the Lucio get there just in time. Naji's still alive. Now big one with the Reaper, going right in. Extrath sees him, pops the Transcendence. It's Q. No self-destruct from Dragon Eddie. He gets back on, but even the mech call doesn't kill anybody. Overtime still ticking away. Extrath on the high ground, shuttling down some orbs, but it's not going to be enough to get rid of Dragon Eddie. They have to get some help from Latex and Leo. Leo gets the D-Mech. Still continuing on the point. Luft now on Doomfist, going in with the Discord, gets shut down by Zekor, and Latex getting rid of Dragon Eddie.
They're doing it!
On the point, still bodies on it. The defense will not let go. Line Pro does go down, though. They're going to be back in. The graves are filling up left and right. Overtime, 1.89 meters remaining. Only 1 body left at the point. It's just the big one. Reaper goes down, and they got it. Northern Lights a relentless push, but overtime not going to dissuade him. They will take the end of the round and get 3 points.
Yeah, I'll let you take a breath there, my rap god friend. After that last fight, you absolutely getting through that one by yourself. But I mean, great grit and determination coming out from Northern Lights there. It looked so bad at the end there. They were staggering their last picks, but just barely at the end there in the 11th hour were able to push that all the way and take a stall. You know, those stalls are usually where offenses go to die, but their target selection was just absolutely phenomenal. The ults were coming online. They were layered perfectly. Great job there from Northern Lights to push that all the way, 3 points in overtime.
Yeah, there was never a time where Northern Lights was like without their supports. Like they had Extra at the live a lot of the time. That was big because that Discord was really huge in cutting down Line Pro and making sure that his, time alive on the point was drastically, lower than it should have been. I think that was definitely a pretty crucial point. So good job to Extrath. Riverboat, of course, some big picks towards that last end of the push, even getting them towards that 1.89 meters. So that was close as well. Extrath also, by the way, how many transcendences have we seen from the Zenyatta? I feel like we've seen like a dozen, always having one.
I think he had 2 in like that last fight just by himself. Like, I mean, that's pretty insane that they were like a minute there. And Extrath, and also Luft had come out on that Tracer and was going after Extrath. Extrath was able to hold his own as that Zenyatta, getting that kill and not dying. So, I mean, Extrath, the hidden MVP here, not showing up in the kill feed too much, but definitely with those transcendences helping his team pull.
Definitely, that's an understatement right there, Kenobi. And then for I would say probably for Samsung Morningstar's Blue, I gotta give it up to Dragon Eddie right there. Some big self-destruct play, constant kills, and then just being a bully on the point. Like that's what you need from your diva, and from Rosario, just being a bully on the point. Knocking everyone around, kind of shoving them into lockers, and that's what we saw a lot out from Dragon Eddie here. So now Samsung Morningstar's Blue in the blue, they're gonna be popping off here on offense. That's Northern Lights to shut them down on defense and tie this up 1-1, but Samsung Morningstar's Blue, they definitely don't want to be outdone after a pretty, close quarter, very clutch offensive ending there for Northern Lights. So let's see if they can be outdone. We do have a change up. Northern Lights is actually changing up their composition here. As you can see, they do have the Orisa, and they've made slight adjustments to being now on defense with Dorado, but for right now, they are controlling the pace of the game here, Kenobi.
Yeah, Dragon Eddie, unfortunately, there was caught into a trap, and when you're in a trap facing down that Arissa, Junkrat, and Hanzo just shooting directly at your at your position there, it's very hard for you to live in through all that healing and shields you have. So good trap placement there, just kind of snuck it next to the payload, not really picked off from anyone, and Kasperi there able to get the final kill.
No, that's already a minute, Kenobi. Like this is just we've already lost that first minute here, and not too much to show for it. That payload is just. The wheels need to be greased here on the payload. It has not moved out of that bridge. It is finally getting through the choke point, but they have that Diva waiting out for them. Leo just sitting upstairs in the window, raining down some shots and distracting them as Kaspir throws down a Riptire, but unfortunately it cruises right through mid, so it gets cleaned up immediately. Leo will find Luff nonetheless. Kaspir does get rid of Najini, so making up for that lost Riptire. Big One will get rid of Riverboat, but that's definitely not enough as their supports and tanks have pretty much gone down except Dragon Eddie. Though actually, all of a sudden, a big swing here for Samsung Morningstar's Blue, actually getting enough Dragon Strike charge here for Big One to let that loose. But Latex was already pretty bolstered there by the Valkyrie Mercy Zekor. So again, some more ultimates churned out here from Samsung Morningstar's Blue, but no receipts, nothing to show for it.
Yeah, Latex actually has been kind of the hidden hero so far. Halt placement is something that we usually don't talk about and that you don't see in the kill feed, but his halt placement has been absolutely phenomenal so far. Able to get a couple of people, 1, 2, 3, stopping this Reinhardt push. As a Reinhardt, you definitely just want to be hitting W and swinging in as that Reinhardt, but if you're getting pulled back, you're not able to, and you lose so much momentum, and their enemy team is able to just, focus up and make sure that, okay, they're going to try and play aggressive, we're going to stop them here, and that's really the beauty of this comp. You're able to just, play that kind of slower game and, that slower stallish type.
And here comes another Dragon Strike. They've hit gold there, and Riverboat again strikes it, gets rid of Luft, and that Reinhardt not having enough mobility. Oh, Kasperi though, we've seen a lot of mid-air kills onto this Pharah here from Kasperi, and Ajini, who's now from the Lucio over to the Pharah, getting hit by that, victimized by another concussion mine. Line Pro get the res onto Luft, and here's the Riptire from behind. Kasperi gets 2, Line Pro and Dance killed by the Riptire, and just Samsung Morningstar's Blue here are getting they're just having way too much trouble pushing up with this payload. Northern Lights, after a very convincing end to that offense right there just in time, now they're even more convincing defensive hold.
Yeah, I really like the fact that Northern Lights was able to switch it up right. they probably were expecting on the side of Samsung, oh, they're gonna bring out the pharmacy again, but no, they bring out this, Junkrat Orisa comp with the Hanzo, and I really like to see that they're switching it up and able to adapt. And you can say whatever you want about Junkrat, but if you're able to kill a Pharah in midair as a Junkrat, I tip my hat to you.
Absolutely. You don't see it every day, but when you do see it, you got to give props. There's a Graviton sucking up Riverboat and Caspier. They might not survive, and Caspier and Riverboat will both go down one way or another. Luft will steal a kill onto Riverboat. Here's a self-destruct, though, from Leo. Doesn't seem like anyone's really in position to get hit by it. None are. Luft was even hiding behind the market. Now Ginny with a barrage. Unfortunately, Leo didn't have the Matrix there in time to save Latex, but they finally get it there. Nevertheless, the kills are coming the way of Samsung Morningstar's Blue, and just in time too, as Leo will try to stagger a little bit, gets demeched, and with 10 seconds remaining, Samsung Morningstar's Blue, it's better to be late than never. They're going to walk it into the first checkpoint.
Yes, Samsung Morningstar's Blue here, kind of taking a page out of the Northern Lights book here. They're bringing out this pharmacy Hanzo pick. It's usually Dive, but they're happy to stick with Dragon Eddy and Luft here on this Reinhardt Zarya rather. So nice little play, nice little switches coming out from them, as they didn't really have anything to deal with that far from here.
Yeah, absolutely. All they really had was the Matrix from Leo, but you got to be in the right position at the right time, and if you're not, the barrage is going to take away all your friends and family, so you want to be careful about that one. It's do or die out here in the streets. And Dragon Eddy now pushing up here with the Zarya, trying to get a little bit of charge going here. Almost at Graviton, but pretty low on laser charge, so probably just looking for the Graviton nonetheless. Gets cut down, though, out of position. Leo will body check him down to the dirt. And now 1 minute and 45 seconds left for Samsung Morningstar's Blue to push up here. They're about halfway through the map, and Latex now going to just flop up onto the point and push Luft back because they're not being supported by anybody. So Luft now by themselves in this corner pocket. They might actually get staggered here. Has to be careful, but meanwhile, Riverboat gets rid of Najini. This might be a dual stagger here. Samsung Morningstar's Blue are kind of just giving away a little bit. Luft still alive, though, hanging out on the point. The Discord's been on him. Pressure's been on him. He's still alive, and he's at least trying to buy some time for the team here, but the rest of his compadres are getting cut down one by one.
Yeah, and I really like this double sniper comp that we're seeing coming out from the side of Team Northern Lights here. You're able to, there's just so much pick potential and so much pressure on the supports in the backline, especially if Luft isn't with them to hold up that shield. So it's a really nice pick, but unfortunately they are going to have to be going up against the Dragon Surge combo here, but they do have finally the Transcendence to deal with it this time.
Yeah, but Extrath has the Transcendence waiting for them too, right? Always has one waiting. Here's a Dragon Strike once again separating. This time Samsung Morningstar's Blue feeling the effects of that one. Left and Dragon Eddy left to their own accord on the payload, but no kills, so they get right back together. And now Leo has to put some pressure on from Latex. They're going to drop in from above, and they both do, sliding off the edge here. Earth Shatter, though, going to come in. Only finds Latex as Leo is hiding behind the corner, but Latex will go down nonetheless. Luft kills him. Now a high ground advantage here for Northern Lights. That payload's going to go right out from under them. But then watch out, Caspier's from behind, looking for the Hanzo and for the Line Pro kill. Riverboat and Zekler, though, getting a kill and a res. Caspier will find big one. Now going in more. And that flank just wasn't enough now. Riverboat with the high ground advantage, and Caspier too. The double sniper composition for Northern Lights is dominating now. And on defense, Samsung Morningstar's Blue on the offensive push have no response. And that is it. Dorado taken away here by Northern Lights very convincingly. And we've got a 1-1 set here, Kenobi.
Yeah, this is, I mean, if we're going to get a Game 5 set, I think this is definitely where we're going to see it. It seems like so back and forth with these two teams. Northern Lights definitely, coming back up after losing that first map, maybe a little bit hard done by being up like basically 1 and 99%. And they come back and they were able to take this one pretty convincingly too with their composition. I love that I saw them switch off of this like pharmacy that they've constantly been on, and they were said, okay, we're going to play this Orisa Junkrat combo, this, more like stally out combo. So I really like that I'm seeing Northern Lights start to adapt, and that's definitely something you need if you want to get to the goals.
Absolutely agreed, and we'll see what the desk thinks. So we're going to throw it over to them. I know Rook, I know Blank, and I know Panda are waiting out for us, so we're going to throw it over to the desk. Why don't you guys take it away?
Thanks for that, Rapture. We'll take it on over from you. We have some exciting things to talk about. Just a 1-1 score. I want the full 5 games. Maybe we'll finally get it here in the winners finals. Absolutely fantastic from both teams. So one thing I really have to ask is that first point was going so well for the side of Northern Lights. It looked really great for them. And then just suddenly something went wrong. So Panda, what really went badly there? What was the turning point, for that entire game?
For Dorado, itself.
For game one. For game one.
Or for
Oasis.
Oasis, yeah. Sorry, I mean it was just such a long match. I mean, like to the caster's point as well. I mean, like if there's ever a point for a game 5, these two teams are really pushing each other to the brink here. I mean, it is such exciting Overwatch at its finest. I'm even lost for words right now, and that says a lot. But at the point where Northern Lights, they were losing Control Center amongst the same reason why they were losing University. They were finding a lot of good opportunities, but they weren't paying attention to the ult economy. They weren't playing the long game that Line Pro was very much so alive on. I mean, he was mitigating so much frontline damage to push his team to the next level, allowing Eddie to get Graviton Surge after Graviton Surge, making headways on City Center, on Diva even, and just making Latex come in and thinking that he had dives when he really didn't, and punishing him for it time and time again. It was minor adjustments coming off of Gardens. Once they finally dealt with the Pharah and they kept the ground, or they kept the fight on the ground, and they kept the game in the macro play, that's when they really turned the tides.
So, what was it that Samsung Morningstar Blue Blank really did so great that they managed to turn that around? And in the last point, for example, they really crushed it once they got control.
I mean, coming to our first sub map, which was Gardens, right? That's probably the map that we're going to have the most difficulty on anyway. That heavily favors Pharah. There's open sight lands for them. There's small rooms where barrages can be so ridiculous. And you've got layer deads there, as well as who's going to always diva matrix your barrage, make sure no harm comes to you. And big one, although he did a bit more towards the end of those sub maps, towards the beginning, we did not see anything good come out from. I love the comp though, Lucio McCree, moving him around. When it came to these next maps, though, Samsung Morningstars, they came into their own, right?
Oh yeah.
Panda's talked about it, and he's ready for it. He loved it. We had a quick battle in chat, 50 Bliss bucks, real money, not real money, I promise. Who would take it?
Might as well be.
But,
Well, I lost that one very convincingly.
It was good though. It was good. It was nice to see. It made us a bit more invested. But the problem is that when you're playing against such huge elements like Rally, Graviton, Earthshatter, Samsung Morningstars are very happy to take those stall fights with you, right? Because they will get a Graviton in the beginning and then they'll have another one for the next fight. And we saw the stagger after stagger after stagger, the Tracer going afterwards, and things just started to like crumble after that and decay and fall down for Northern Lights here. So it was tough on them. I'm glad that Samsung Morningstars Blue brought it back, and they're really using that Brigitte to kind of change up how the enemy team plays. They have to start playing around it, okay? And I would not be half convinced, because if we look back in the brackets, a lot of Samsung Morningstars Blues games have either ended in a 3-1 or a 3-2. I would not be surprised if a lot of those games come from the control maps that they play. Northern Lights, they got unlucky this time. I think they could have taken it, but they played the stall game a little bit wrong here.
Certainly did. But moving on to Dorado, we actually saw Northern Lights went out there and they're looking pretty hot after that. So I'm interested quickly, Blank, what did they do that actually really changed so much? What was they came up with a different strategy and it really worked out for them. What happened there?
You know what? Map choice already is a huge thing. Second point, Dorado is so tough to crack, especially when Line Pro is so committed to playing Brigitte, right? So you try and push through there, and there's such a high ground advantage that we saw them all just. It could have gone terribly, right? If Northern Lights played on the footsie battle and just lost out there, but they didn't. They took advantage of the high ground, and whenever anything wrong happened, Leah Deads dropped down to the payload, dropped self-destruct, made sure nothing came of it, and just stalled it out. And Exaraf, damn, that guy always had transcendence when they needed it. We saw it on Oasis, 2 transcendence in like a minute. That stuff's ridiculous. So they always had the defensive ultimates ready and available. And Riverboat also just so consistently clean on that Hanzo, pulling back and unleashing those arrows whenever.
Yeah, is there anyone you want to quickly highlight, Panda, on either team that did really well on Dorado?
Honestly, I'd probably highlight one in particular person would be Latex, the main tank coming out for Northern Lights. I only highlight this player, not that he was just going buck wild crazy on the front line, but he's also the team captain for this team. So it came down to a certain point when their heads were low and the demeanor was crushed coming off of Oasis for this team, that he had to rally everybody, no pun intended, to the new hero in Overwatch and just keep everybody around. And we know that Reinhardt is a fantastic I guess, analogy for the foundation of a team. And same for Winston as well, that he just kept everybody together, kept their strategies in the book, kept it running tight. And you could see, to Blank's point as well, allowing the frontline pressure to mitigate, I guess, less pressure from Riverboat in the back, just freelining those arrows down line and just aligning with Casper to get a lot of free damage off and push them into the next level, I guess.
It's really simple geometry now, right?
It
It's
is.
just a straight line from one place to
math.
their heads.
Yeah, quick math to the face.
I mean, yeah, absolutely brilliant. I love those graphs. Y equals mx plus c, my favorite part of maths. Certainly, Northern Lights now keeping their eyes in the sky for the Aurora Borealis. Definitely excited to see how they continue on, whether they can beat out Samsung Blue. It is still 1-1. We're going to pass over to the casters now. Kenobi and Rapture, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very, very much. We are on map 3 here for our winners final set between Northern Lights and Samsung Morningstar's Blue. I am Rapture here with Kenobi, and we're going to Volskaya for our third map. Kenobi, are you ready to get cold?
Yeah, I really would like to get cold because I don't think there's enough AC in the world right now for my my room. It is rather warm here up in Connecticut. But you know, it's going to be interesting what we're going to be seeing here coming out from these two teams, as we did see shades of double sniper coming out on that last map on Dorado, and this is one of those maps where Widow has a very heavy influence. So we'll see if one of these teams bring it out, because they haven't done it so much so far. I don't think any of these teams, maybe they don't have like a dedicated Widow player, or they just don't like playing it, but we're going to have to see.
Yeah, the Volskaya is definitely the home of double sniper for sure. And it might just come down to which team has the better double sniper, but I think it might also come down to which team has the better Dragon Surge combinations. We'll see which of these teams break out with what. But we also are in Europe, and I'm sure Blank is like, oh, we're in Europe, quad tank. Like,
Quad
sure
tank,
there's
quad
something
tank.
like that is sitting there.
I can hear him now. His
Yeah,
well-dressed
I'm
self.
looking
Just,
over. Yeah, I can see.
I just see it. I see the bow tie. It's just
Exactly.
chef's kiss.
So we might see some of that too. We'll see what these teams break out with here as we jump into our third match. It is a best of 5, so this won't decide things here. We will have to see a map 3 and a map 4. So there's still a lot in the line for these teams. Both of them have, of course, qualified for trials, but now it comes down to seeding for trials and for bragging rights and all that.
And Blizzard Bucks. Can't forget Blizzard Bucks.
What was I thinking? Blizzard Bucks.
10 more Blizzard Bucks?
So many skins, so many loot boxes.
How else are you gonna get Debonair? How else are you gonna get Debonair Doomfist? I mean, how else will you get it without the Blizzard Bucks?
That exactly, and I also feel you on the coldness, because I have the AC running in my apartment, but my door's shut because it's early and roommates are sleeping, so it's hot as hell in my room. So I totally feel you there. I hope Volskaya chill things out for us, and hopefully not for these teams though, because we've had such a great set heat up between these two squads. We're going to see Samsung Morningstar's Blue still in the blue. 3 maps still in the blue. I love that. 2018, we have the technology, so big fan of that one. And we're going to have on this left side flank here going hard. It's Northern Lights. They're going for the rotation up to the high ground here, Kenobi.
Yeah, they're just gonna take the high ground and they're just gonna go in. Kasperi is able to get a huge pick on big one right there, and they're not gonna be able to rest that without a mercy. So, and a huge ult takes them off the high ground as well. So great play here coming out from the side of Team Samsung Blue on this first pick on this first part here.
Yeah, and actually I got a little too ahead of myself.
We don't have the
here.
technology.
We don't have the technology. I thought we did, but we don't actually have the technology here, unfortunately. So moving up, it actually is in the red here. Samsung Morningstar's Blue and not Augmented Authority, wrong game. Send the Northern Lights. We're in winners bracket. What am I thinking? We're in winners bracket here. Northern Lights over in the blue. So both teams kind of feeling each other out here as about a minute has ticked away, and for right now that means it's pretty good here for the defense. That's going to be chilling out here for Northern Lights. So they're hanging out behind this Orisa shield, and I mean, Samsung Morningstar's Blue, they got to kind of get out, put a wedge under them and kind of get some leverage. They're going to do just that by pushing up on the high ground too. It's all but high ground push here for both these teams. Here we go. Luft is just breaking away right through. I think his shield got broken. Latex cuts him down, takes down Dance too. And of course, that Dragon Strike's definitely going to do a lot of residual damage. Dragon that he forced off into the cold glacial ice. And Riverboat and Casper also not going to be outdone. There's some kills. There's the team kill, Kenobi. That's another shutdown.
Yet Northern Lights is playing the shield break game so incredibly well. Just understanding that Luft is not going to be able to heal himself or not going to be able to sustain through anything if we have his shield broken. So they break the shield and just melt that Reinhardt, the big one, not the big one rather, Riverboat, and Latex and everyone on the team is doing such a good job of breaking that Rein shield. And then when that Rein shield is there, you're able to get the picks to the back line as well. So they're doing a great job here keeping this high ground and staying hot. I should not have worded it that way.
Definitely. I'm sure they are. 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining here. Samsung Morningstar's Blue looking for another push onto the left side here. Going to go right through the direct route, jumping right up onto Latex, but he's bolstered here by the Mercy. A Dragon Strike might give them some opportunity to jump right off, and indeed they do. That's going to be enough convincing for them. Not going to argue with the Dragon. And now the point pushed up here. Here's a self-destruct thrown down by Leo. Not going to find Paydirt. Gets back into the cockpit. No kills. Oh, actually, the DMAC will come out from Dragon Eddy. So the self-destruct does get the DMAC onto him. Leo then gets the kill onto Line Pro. And no Brigitte around. That means it's going to be another reset for the offense.
This is such a great defense here coming out from... They just really seem to understand, this Orisa play here is that if we just keep Latex alive and Latex to, mitigate so much of this damage coming out from Luft, from Dragon Eddy, and from the big one, they're going to be able to, stay alive for long enough where they're going to be able to get the picks. And with only the big one being your real, damage dealer here, it's very hard for them to, just chew through all of this, sustain coming out from Northern Lights.
36 remaining here, and now Northern Lights has to deal with this sound barrier. The Dragon Strike comes right in. Ginny's going to help bolster his team, but they still got to dodge the Dragon Strike itself, and then Luft found themselves kind of out of position there with only the Lucio in their pockets. So Riverboat's going to capitalize on that, gets the kill. Now Line Pro out by themselves too, has a Discord on, doesn't realize that Caspier's behind them, shooting them down, but Riverboat steals the kill with a Stormbow headshot. Now Big One gets up onto Xerath, gets a Stormbow kill on them as well, another headshot. 10 seconds remaining here, and the Samsung Morningstar's Blue kind of out of sorts here. No one really on the point. Northern Lights kind of casually holding this, and the Diva actually kind of going to get demeched here as they were by themselves in the pocket room. So now as one by one, Samsung Morningstar's Blue are getting cut down individually. Northern Lights trying to seal the deal without even a single tick of this taken. But Samsung Morningstar's Blue, unfortunately, they're going to be, fortunately for them, actually going to find some kills here. Northern Lights might actually succumb to it, and indeed they will. They can't keep their numbers up, which means they're going to lose the first point.
Yeah, unfortunately, the respawns were just coming in at the 11th hour for the side of Team St. Blue. If you're the side of Northern Lights, though, that was a formidable defense coming out from them. Just wasn't able to finish it at the end there. But I'll take 4 minutes. You'll probably take 4 minutes if you're Samsung Blue. You'll take anything after the way the defense was going. And your attack now, maybe you can try and snowball this to a quicker take on point B.
And I don't think we'll see any kind of snowball here, Kenobi. It seems like things have quieted down. Samsung Morningstar's Blue, they didn't have too much of a rush going on to the point, so Northern Lights will be able to situate themselves for the defensive push, and they're going to try and set the pace early with a Dragon Strike, but it doesn't really do too much. Samsung Morningstar's Blue found themselves on the same side of the Dragon Strike, so it doesn't separate anybody. Dance nevertheless going to use the Transcendence. There's another Dragon Strike come through, and that might have actually been eaten. Yeah, that did not get found anything. That did not find Paydirt. He gets sucked up by the defensive matrix. So unfortunate. That's another tool lost, thrown down into the drain. Dance finds Xerath, and the Tracer now Ginny was trying to get out and get some leverage on Riverboat. Riverboat throws his scouting arrow and actually silences Tracer on their own. So now 2 minutes and 53 seconds here for Samsung Morningstar's Blue to get something going.
And I really like this Sombra pick coming out from Caspera. In like stage 1 of Overwatch League a couple of metas ago, we used to see a lot of Sombra just on this map specifically. You're able to control so many health packs, and now you're able to deal a lot more damage as Sombra, as the spread has been reduced from the way she used to be. But that huge EMP comes out for.
Yeah, the Sombra, we're going to try and see and wait to see when the Sombra will be put into play, and we finally do see it. The EMP helped get rid of the Tracer, but it's not actually enough to do much more after that. They have to rely on Riverboat and Leo for the Dragon Strike and Self-Destruct respectively to get the kills. But still, Northern Lights, they don't have a huge advantage on the point. They do have the deal with this Diva. They have Dance getting the kill on the Riverboat right now. So Northern Lights, this is their cue to go in. Once they get on the outside of this Transcendence from Xerath, they can try and get some kills, but the Transcendence was enough for Latex, Xerath, and Leo to get on the board with some kill feed kills. That's where they go. They go into that feed, and that's enough for Northern Lights to hold on for the time being.
And Xerath is just pumping out so much damage on this Zenyatta with his discords and just with his mouse one button. I mean, he's just on the high ground here, just throwing orbs left and right, doing so much damage. And, you know, eventually that damage does add up. And, you know, that Zenyatta we usually talk about is like kind of like that pseudo third DPS. So Xerath definitely putting that into play here.
Oh, Valkyrie going to be popped by Line Pro.
Pretty
It
early.
looks yeah, I think that might be, they're going to try and go in here and take advantage of that, but maybe just to get him across the map. Yeah, they are going to go in, so there's Luft and Dragon Eddy going into the back line here. Zekro has to use the Valkyrie to get out of their way, and there's a Dragon Strike responding to the dive, and Luft was trying to get out, but Luft had nowhere to go. The Dragon Strike cuts him off. He goes down. You know, Latex and Leo also find pay dirt, reducing Samsung to yet again very little time. They have 1 minute left to get point B.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was maybe just a fat finger out from, but that was a very, very. I don't think the rest of the team was ready, and at that point you're kind of forced into, you know, diving to make sure you're getting value out of that Valkyrie there. So not really the best coordinated push right there coming out from the side of Team Samsung Blue, and they're gonna have probably one more fight left in them. They do have a pulse bomb and a transcendence, so if Dance can hit a big transcendence here, they might go in with it.
Yeah, but that's going to be, it might not even be enough to do that. They also really need a big pulse bomb here. Dragon Eddy could definitely zone out with the self-destruct, so maybe look out for that one too, but it's no confirmed kills here. Now Jenny goes to the pulse bomb, and Xerath's going to avoid that and get the kill on the headshot. Now Jenny probably regretting that dive in there. So they've lost the pulse bomb and their tracer. What can Samsung do here? Try and get this on Northern Lights. Northern Lights is looking really strong, and a Transcendence. They also have the EMP waiting, so even if Samsung commits, they can get bodied. There it is, EMP coming down. A self-destruct though from Dragon Eddy though, from down deep, gets 2 off the backboard. Overtime taking away a 64 advantage going into this next fight here. Zekro gets the res. Here's a self-destruct from above. Might not get the same. No, Leo gets 2 as well. Both the 76 and Dance going down. 76, you're not in this meta. You better get back to the roster. You better get back to character select. Here's a Dragon Strike coming through from Big One, and another down now from Riverboat, and that's one Big One gets with Riverboat, unfortunately unable to do the same. Now self-destruct from just a remake from Dragon Eddy, getting their body back up onto the point here. 1 tick taken for Samsung Blue, and now some more. Kenobi, can Northern Lights get back in time?
I'm not sure if they can get back. Maybe, possibly, their Mercy might be able to get back. Winston might be able to. The Line Pro is just going to zone out here with that shield, and you know, again at the 11th hour they're able to take this point at the end there. And that fight, I mean, honestly, if I believe it was who's the Zenyatta player, Dance there, I think if Dance was about to get EMP'd by the Sombra and Dance popped Transcendence like literally the millisecond before the EMP came out, I think if Dance doesn't do that, that fight is completely over. Zen is going to be dead, but that like game sense, right? The Spidey sense, just able to pop that Transcendence right before the EMP comes out. Huge play there from Dance, able to push them through.
Yeah, that was right there. Just super, super close, like split-second decision-making right there.
I would
that
love to see a
really
replay, like, because that was just, it was like, I heard the EMP and Transcendence like almost at the same time, and I thought that's probably going to be like whatever comes out on top is going to like win this fight.
Yeah, and it also helped that Big One grab that nice Dragon Strike kill.
Yep.
We saw a couple times, unfortunately.
The Diva bombs.
Yeah, the Diva bomb. Yeah, the trading dual Diva bombs, 2K for each, so they're getting the most out of that investment. But yeah, that was these teams just trading ultimates here. And Samsung Morningstars Blue, they are, come out victorious. They've won the battle, but not necessarily the war here. They did get 2 points, but at the cost of all their time. So that could be a big difference going into this if Northern Lights are able to sweep for Northern Lights able to sweep here for 2 points.
Yeah, and if you really don't want to get snowballed, you're able to, if you're looking up against something like a 6-minute defense on point A, those are one of the things that you just are absolutely dreading. So you definitely want to be very, very careful on the side of Samsung Blue to, like, keep your marbles basically, so that you don't get you don't get shook basically. Don't have like quad tank. I bet Blank is in the back like saying like, please run quad tank, just roll this point, just take your 6 minutes and go.
Well, maybe he doesn't find marbles that valuable, man. Maybe he's more of like a Beanie Babies kind of guy. I don't know if Beanie Babies was big over in the UK, but I know there's still some people around here in the US that are holding on to theirs.
Yeah,
They're hoping, man, and it's the old man's Bitcoin, But I don't think prices are going up pretty high for that squad. Maybe not for either of these squads. We'll see. This is still 1-1 tie, so whoever comes out of this will be up 2-1 and will be on match set points. So this is A little bit on the stakes here for this is Northern Lights now on offense. They get that first kill. Exarath, I keep forgetting which class he in, DPS or support, because he's getting first bloods left and right. Finds Luft, forces out the res from Lion Pro, but there's still a 6v5 situation thanks to Caspier with a snipe. Now it's 5v5. Now Ginny getting rid of Riverboat. And then, thankfully there for Northern Lights, they are going to get a couple kills. Still have a slight advantage, but because they're also coming from offense, those spawns are going to be closer for them. So even if they trade evenly, it's still positive for them.
Yeah, Exarath here has been absolutely huge on this Zenyatta, you know, with the Discord placement, with the Harmony Orb placement, Transcendence is pretty much anything they need him to do, he's doing right now, as you mentioned, playing that DPS role. But the big one does get a pick on Kasperi here, and they might be able to come back and stall all the way from that point B defense.
Yeah, they might actually be able to do that, but yeah, the Riverboat getting rid of a big one. It's still the trades are not coming in quick enough here for Samsung. Even though they're getting a kill here and there, they can't keep up with the way that Northern Lights is able to replenish their stocks on the point. They can get reinforcements in there quicker, so these kills get even more value for Northern Lights as they do for Samsung Morningstar's Blue. And now at this point, Northern Lights is getting more kills. The Dragon Strike also cutting off Samsung from getting, coming in from spawn. So that was more than enough convincing from Northern Lights to get Samsung Blue off the point, and now they're going to push to point B.
And you have that 6-minute time bank here for the side of Team Northern Lights, and they're just going to play a little bit patient. They're not going to run in. I like this coming out from them because sometimes you just see teams rush willy-nilly onto that second point B, and that's where defenses go to die if you're not coordinated enough because the respawns are just so close there. So I like that they're just playing a little bit more of a patient game here. Gonna maybe try and get Riverboat this Dragon Strike before they go in.
And Exarath again has a Transcendence ready. Dance also popped at the exact same time. So you can outlast it though. The Valkyrie might make the difference here from Zekor. But Dragon Eddy gets first blood on this push. Riverboat going down, and Northern Lights is convinced from that one. They're gonna fall back. They don't have Riverboat. They don't have that big DPS player, so they're not gonna waste time and just gonna reset things.
And I like that they're going to reset, and Kasperi actually is just going to kill Nagini right there. So now they might actually try to go in. Primal Rage committed to this fight. Kasperi popping off right now, Rapture.
2 kills very quickly there. Luff, though, not going to be outdone with a nice 360 no-scope. Gets rid of Latex on the Fire Strike, but Leo will get back onto the board with a mini missile barrage, cutting down Dance. And now this defense is just relegated to the back left corner. A kind of desperate self-destruct from above, not going to land. Here's a high noon, though, from Big One. Out from spawn, Riverboat finds some holes in his hull and says, that's, going to sink right into the water. Latex finds Luff. And another Transcendence from Exarath, but they still are not close enough to getting these kills. They got to find more one by one. Dance gets the Transcendence. That Big One gets cut down by Exarath. Exarath now going to fall back a little bit, giving his team some room between him and them, him in the front line. Falling back now, and also the Widowmaker from Kaspir, but no bodies in the point itself. Latex realizes that, and now push up on the front line as that Dragon tries to come in from above, or from behind. It's going to cut off the reinforcements again, but no kills. The defense will be able to get onto the point, but how long will they survive as the offense is still going in strong?
Oh, and Big One's going to get Latex there. That's a huge pick. They aren't going to have that Winston, but he's going to come back, and the Transcendence is able to keep him alive. And Exarath, again, another Transcendence. What more to say about this Zenyatta player right now?
And you can really tell how badly both of these teams want the Zenyatta's down. They're using ultimates just to get rid of them individually. Latex will also slap Big One silly with that Primal Rage. Line Pro, though, going to batter Caspier around, give him a concussion. That's 3 minutes and 50 seconds about left on the clock here for Northern Lights, as they have not been able to snowball, and now they've been shut down a couple times here.
And it looks like Kasperi is going to switch over to the Sombra. I like this pick. We saw it on the defense here, and now we're going to... Oh, well, Commentator Curse going to switch over to that Farah, I guess is what we see.
You know the power we have. Come on.
Yeah, we actually have so much power. We can influence matches just like by the snap of our fingers. But Kasperi going to go back to this comfort pick of the Farah we see. Big One is going to have to, play a very, very good McCree here to try and deal with it. But, you don't really have that infinite skybox in this point B defense, so Kasperi going to have to play a little bit careful as well.
Another Dragon Strike from Riverboat. Again, doing its job of separating the defense, but they don't, follow up and get kills on that. So they still have to make things done the vanilla way. Caspier gets rid of Big One. Latex not going to be dissuaded. And Archetta comes down, but Riverboat actually ducked into a corner just in time. So dodge that Earth Shatter. Luff then finds Latex. Meanwhile, Caspier raining down some shots from above. Has to watch out as Big One's rejoining the fray. Dragon Eddy, though, is the one to steal the kill. Puts him right down for the count. Now the kill feed's going right again, going blue this time. It's Northern Lights with Riverboat and Leo still alive, forcing out the Transcendence from Dance as he tries to rejoin the rest of his team here, trying to keep Dragon Eddie and Big One alive long as possible for the rest of the team to rejoin up. But the Dragon Strike comes out, finds Big One as they get the kill on the Leo, and there's nowhere to go. Riverboat gets another one on Dance too, and the defense forced to go down mid, but they have a Graviton, thankfully. That was huge. Dragon Eddie need to have that Graviton because they might have gotten absolutely slaughtered if they went through that mid choke point. And then another kill onto Caspier, who jumped in and killed Line Pro on that new pick on Doomfist. So Northern Lights seemed like they almost had it, but this Graviton was a really big deal.
Yeah, that Graviton pretty much saved them the game there. Waited until the Transcendence was out so that they were able to get so much free damage. And, you know, Graviton, such a huge ultimate in today's meta. Great job there from Dragon Eddie, you know, getting it at the last minute, because I think if they did not have that Graviton, that fight was most likely going to be over and Northern Lights was going to take this first point. But Northern Lights, they have 2 minutes left about. They do have a couple of ultimates in their favor, so let's see what they can do.
Minute and 45 left here. We're gonna have an aggressive defense. Luff, though, going in and doesn't even need to get the shield up entirely, but does and catches the Earth Shatter just in time. Everyone's not gonna get hit by that one. So Latex to go back to the drawing board as we get a kill. Dance who swapped over to the Ana gets a kill. Now Ginny also finding Zekor. There's the support line. Leo also getting bopped down. Najini right-clicks him, and these supports are just picking up the kills for both of these teams.
So Kasperi is going to switch over to the Junkrat now. Interesting choice. I mean, the Pharah wasn't really working too much. There's just so much healing and coming out side of Team Samsung Blue that you're doing a lot of damage, but she wasn't getting enough kills on that Pharah. So if you're not going to be able to get those kills, it's just going to be free alt charge for the defense. So Junkrat pretty good here too. I like what's coming out from them, and if they're able to, you know, push this a little bit further here, maybe get that tire for Kasperi, it'll be a very good pick for them.
50 seconds remaining. Not that little time, but it could be that little as Leo goes for the Graviton. There's a Dragon Surge combo. They have to be careful. Big One gets 2 on the high noon. They weren't ready for a responding ultimate at the exact same time as they were trying to get in position to follow up on the Dragon Surge. They end up getting killed, and they lost their Mercy in that one too. That's big. And now Najini gets rid of Riverboat. Now they're going to go in. Najini gets 2. The 2K, these supports. Look at Xrath out here, but it's Line Pro. The supports. Najini again gets a 3rd. And they're just going off. Xrath, I mentioned him, he goes down. Casters again. 20 seconds remaining here, Kenobi. And Northern Lights is just nowhere to be found.
Yeah, Leodis tried to Kobe that into the backline, but it only got 1 person. And if you're going to hit that Graviton, you're usually hoping for at least 2 or 3 to snowball that point, but he was only able to get 1. And now they're going to show him how it's done with their own Graviton here, getting to Luft and Latex. Luft is going to kill Latex and Leodis, and that's probably going to be it here. 3 people down.
And Latex trying to salvage it, cracking down the servers with Earth Shatter, but it wasn't enough to get any kills. Only 1 knockdown. Everyone else was already taken out by the Graviton. That's enough. Samsung Morningstar's Blue. Don't let the screen fool you. They'll be up 2-1 in this set as they have taken the win on Volskaya.
Yeah, and you know, really, it looked pretty detrimental for them at the beginning. You know, they lost point A very quickly, but that defense was just absolutely huge. And unfortunately, for the side of Team Northern Lights, they just weren't able to figure out what DPS they could use to figure out, you know, how to break this line and how to break all that AoE healing coming out from the side of Team Samsung Blue. So Samsung Blue there, you know, really staunch defense coming out from them.
That's SAT words out here, man. I definitely agree. Yeah, it definitely felt like, you know, as opposed to in the past, the tanks and the supports are really the MVPs here. Xrath going off, Dance going off here. A lot of big plays from all these supports. And then, of course, now Ginny getting on the Lucio and all of a sudden getting like 4 or 5 kills, maybe 6 kills in the last fight or so. Like it kind of came down to who you're prioritizing. And unfortunately, you know, neither team was able to really keep up with the fact that the tanks and the supports are really running the show out here. And thankfully for Samsung, they kind of got the memo first. So they will be up with a slight lead here just from a Volskaya win. So now they are 1 map away from taking this best of 5 and moving on to grand finals of the Open Division Season 2 playoffs here in Europe, excuse me. So that should be really hype as we move on to our 4th and possibly final map. If not, we'll go to a control tiebreaker here. Of course, I'm sure the desk is waiting to talk about that one, but we got to go to another map and possibly another one. So no time for you guys, folks. We got some more competitive Overwatch coming your way, and we're just gonna be deciding to see which map we're gonna be going to, waiting for a bio break between 2 teams. Meanwhile, though, Kenobi, I gotta ask, who was your MVP of that map?
Of that map specifically, I mean, can I give it to Najini? I think Najini just as, you know, as he's a flex player, and like when I looked at my notes, he said that his favorite hero Genji, but he's like playing the Lucio, he's playing, the Zen, he was playing it all very well. Oh no, he wasn't playing the Zen. Dance was playing the Zen, but his Lucio specifically, we saw it in that play of the game, getting those pistol kills and then getting the environmental kills, as well as all the sound barriers coming out from him were very good as well. And I think it's kind of just a whole team effort, but I think if I had to give it to someone, it'd definitely be Najini for that map.
I'm sure they would be happy to hear about that one. And of course, I'm always a big supporter of support MVPs.
Yeah, Panda's probably
Because-
like very happy on the desk right now that I gave it to support. Like
Yes.
he's just
There we
he's
go.
over the
Yes.
moon right now.
And we're gonna be getting into this next map pretty soon. We'll see what Najuni can do for the squad going into this next one, as it was definitely a bit, kind of a big deal, definitely for sure. Dragon Eddy also popping off on that tank, both Diva and Zarya. Those are pretty big, and you saw how important the the Dragon Surge combinations ended up being, and so many Dragon Strikes coming out from Riverboat though, like. Not even waiting for the graviton sometimes. Always look at this is a guy who's really committing to that Dragon Strike that either separates the backline for the front line or makes it so that the defense can't get right back in, can't provide direct reinforcements, or that the someone who's running away to try and not get killed, they have nowhere to go because the Dragon Strike's in their way.
Yeah, and you mentioned like how Dragon Strike is used and how Riverboat's using it. It's really cool to see, and both the Hanzos rather. It's really cool to see like when they use it in sense. Oh, I just want to get a couple of kills here. They understand like, oh, we can just get so much zone potential and like make them play our game, right? We can just make them not have to go one way, put them in our own line of sight. Then we can, combo it with some other ultimates. Like if you zone people off with Dragon Strike and then throw in self-destruct, then they have nowhere to go. You're caught between like a rock and a hard place. So I really like that these two Hanzos rather, are using their ultimates, in a better way than just like, oh, I hit Q, I get triple kill.
We wish it could be that easy every single time, but
I do, yeah.
Unfortunately, it is not the case. Maybe one day, maybe in Overwatch 2, you just hit Q and you win. I'll be waiting for that one in 2020, but that's actually not that far away. Can't make 2020 jokes. That's actually like a year and a half away.
Like
so
2022 maybe, is that
2022? I'd be comfortable with 2022
Okay,
Overwatch. There we
2022.
go. There's
It's
enough
already-
twos in that
it's-
year.
If we're halfway through 2018, where's time going? It's just like
Where
so
is time
fast.
going?
It's
Well,
so
we-
fast.
We know that time's going pretty fast because this is season 2 of 2018 Open Division. So there's still a lot more Open Division, and of course, right near when playoffs, trying to determine who will be making contenders trials and who's going to be seated in their contenders trial spots. This is winners final. So both these teams have made it. Congrats to them. But now we're trying to figure out who's going to be going in with a little bit of a higher seed, who's getting some bragging rights out here, trying to see who their potential opponent and trials might be as well. These teams have battled through weeks and weeks of play, and it's pretty grueling in Open Division playing 2 weeks, 2 games in a weekend, and sticking together for over a month, some close to like a 2-month span, which in Overwatch is a very, very long time,
Yeah.
both in terms of team life and meta life.
And
Just
mental life. and
mental
just-
life, exactly. Like being able to stick it together with your team. Like 50% of the battle is surviving your teammates
Yeah.
and not the other team. So if you're able to stay together for that long, you made it all the way this far. You still have contenders trials to go through. Then if
Yeah.
you make contenders, like this is the
They're
thing
troopers. They're troopers.
exactly right. Like there's still so much more to go. So that's why I love casting some of these games. How far will some of these teams actually go to make it into contenders trials? Even beyond that, we might be seeing the beginning of, or towards the beginning or middle of a really, really long and awesome success story or something in the making. So you never know what you're going to get. But we know what we are going to get for our next map. It is Blizzard World. You better get your fast pass ready because we're going to be skipping some lines again to the front of the car.
Yeah, I don't want to sit in like 3-hour lines like, to get to get to some of these rides here. When's Blizzard? I wonder when Blizzard's gonna make an. They got the money. Oh no, sorry, they're a small indie company. They don't.
Small indie company.
Yeah, they don't have the money.
I see. I still go back to that initial announcement of Blizzard World. Everyone like legitimately
everyone thought it was real. Yeah.
Everyone really thought it was an amusement park. So like that's not jokes there. Like that was real.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I always go in the front of any roller coaster. So we got Six Flags Great Adventure out here.
Yeah.
So I'm on the first for King Ka. I'm in first for Nitro. El Toro. I'm in the front. You can't find me anywhere else. So I think these teams are as well. Looks like Left is still in the bathroom, so I can understand that because it's been a pretty crazy, set. You can't clench the entire time. Sometimes you gotta let it loose. It's been pretty clench worthy.
Curse again because it says Kings Row now.
Oh, did we? Well, here's what happens: that we got so excited with Blizzard World, but it rained today, so the park is shut down, which means
Yeah.
Kings Row it's a little, it's already damp there, so
Yeah,
you
it's
can see the
already
thing
raining in
past
England.
them. Exactly. So no,
I'm sure
you
Blank
can't.
can attest to that, right? It rains just all the time.
Well, I don't know if Blank is like the does he know everything about Europe at all times? Because I don't know. I don't know if he's the weatherman either, if he can control the weather.
I
But
mean, he
is
could
he?
just look out his window right
He
now.
could just look out his window. So maybe we'll know from the desk. I looking at his camera right now, I can see some light.
Oh yeah, I see
So
some
I think
sun.
I think it's more, a little less overcast than it is here in Kings Row.
Yeah.
But this is honestly, I'm not at all disappointed by this. Love Kings Row. Everyone loves
Yeah.
Kings Row.
I think
Great
it's
to
like
see some Kings Row.
yeah, everyone like considers it like the best map. I think.
Yeah,
When I
it's
do like scrim nights and when I get no, our favorite map is King's Row.
Okay, I remember when, like, for a while everyone was like, "Oh, Kings Row is like the Dust 2 of Overwatch," blah blah blah. But no one, I don't think anyone in Counter Strike thinks Dust 2 is the best map in Counter Strike. It's just the one that everyone plays on. So like,
Yeah.
for me, I love Mirage. So like, I'm like, oh, this is like the Mirage of that game. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is like the Dust 2, the Final Destination, the Battlefield, the Smashville of Overwatch.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
You know what
There
I'm
we
talking about?
go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
This is definitely. When I think of Kings Row, I think of some of that
FD,
Battlefield, some of that
FD.
Smashville right there. Everyone loves it. You can't hate it. And honestly, from casting many European tournaments, from the Go for Overwatch tournaments with like Ham and many more, with Panda joining me for one of those. Did those for many. Hopefully, with Overwatch Division over, we can jump back over to that for a little bit. Teams would literally only pick, and probably still do to this day, Kings Row and control maps, as long as they
Yeah.
possibly could, until like grand finals best of 5, where they're like forced to go
Yeah.
another game type. But there would be tournaments where you run only control and only Kings Row like the entire time. So I would have been disappointed if we didn't get at least Kings Row once for this European matchup for two of some of the best teams in Tier 3 European Overwatch today. So
Yeah.
of course, why not have a really great matchup on the best map?
Yeah, and I think it's the best map because a lot of teams say that there's just so much in comp choice on this map. There's some maps, comp is very, the composition's very like, cookie cutter, right? It's always like, oh, we can play like dive on this or quad tank on this, but here you can play off some offensive dive, you can play some quad tank, triple tank, double sniper, everything comes out on this map. So I think that's one of the main reasons people like it, is just the versatility that you have in composition picks.
Yeah, exactly. You can go for like the double sniper. You can go for the single sniper. You can go for Junkrat, Hanzo. You can go for more verticality with dive. You can go for the death ball with Ryan Zarya, Brigitte.
Yeah, and
So
EU
like
quad tank. I mean,
you quad tank. You could do
there
all,
we
you
go.
probably you could do 5 tanks out here. You could go for all tanks if you want or something. Or maybe like triple or quad support. There's the Kings Row gives you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
Generally you want to use or Farah, big pick. The Far Mercy definitely on like offense point A you see pretty commonly.
Mhm.
But probably maybe not too much if we see a sniper or two, because that's probably enough to not pick the Far. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Both these teams hopefully
So,
getting into the game
yeah.
very soon here as we jump up to our potentially last map of the series here, Kings Row, between these two squads. Samsung Stars Blue, they're up 2-1. Kings Row at that last map here potentially for them. All they have to do is win one more and they'll move on to the grand finals. Northern Lights, they got to get 2. They got to stay in here, and Kings Row could be over just like that. They definitely don't want that to happen. And of course, this is the first set in playoffs that Northern Lights has lost any maps. Samsung Morningstars Blue is the only team in playoffs so far that's been able to take off maps from Northern Lights. They've been 3-0. They've been perfect going into the second. Samsung Morningstars Blue have taken them down a little bit of a notch here. So now we're going to Kings Row. It's time for map 4 here. Winners Finals and Open Division Season 2 EU Playoffs. Thank you all for joining us here on Broadcast.gg for potentially our last map of the set, or will Northern Lights be able to force a map 5? We're about to find out here on Kings Row with my man Kenobi. Thank you all for tuning in. And by the way, the team names in-game will still be swapped, unfortunato, but we will have the proper names up above, so don't get confused. I might, but I'll get confused.
But we have the tech, so Samsung Blue is back on. So we have the technology now.
Do we? So, okay. All right. I see. I can't keep up with technology these days,
It just
I'm
moves
not
so
trying to-
fast.
so fast every year. It's and I'm trying to keep up with what the youths are into, so
What
like,
iPhone are we on now? Like X, right? X.
I think it's like iPhone like 10, 11, 12.
so-
I'm on iPhone 5 still, man. I'm all about
That's a
the
decent
retro
phone.
phone.
That's a decent phone.
Retro iPhone life.
Yeah.
So. All right, well here we go. Going into it. So yeah, so it looks like Northern Lights is still in the red technically. but it will say Samsung Morningstar's blue in game. So, you know, no big deal there.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, these teams seem like they're kind of coagulating towards the compositions they are going to run on defense here on Samsung Morningstar's blue. They are running the
Defensive
tank.
dive.
Yeah, it's a defensive dive. Okay, so normally teams would kind of just run like maybe the dual tank with like Bree and like the Brigitte and kind of just one DPS, but they're going for the one DPS but with the dive composition. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, and coming out from the offensive team here, we're gonna see the pharmacy. So Kasperi back on that, comfort pick basically. Loves this fair, loves the farm. See if it can do a little bit more damage than it was doing on Volskaya.
I would say that is enough. Her name is Bree. I'll say it. I don't care. Because honestly, now you're making me good for some cheese and crackers. That would be so good right now. Cheese and grapes. 3 minutes 35 seconds here already, and we're getting close to that first tick here for Northern Lights. They're going on a little bit aggressively, but they're feeling the pushback. Dance gets rid of Zekor, cuts him right down. Now Luff has a number on their phone here, but it's only 6 digits, so that's not going to go through there. Sorry, man. You got left the bar. Leo's going to cut him down. Big one on Latex, gets one, and now Riverboat kind of left a little bit unhindered off the point here. Going to go into hotel, try and check in early, but doesn't have enough time to do that. Pops right back out here. Room's not ready. Has the Mercy in their pocket here. And with Kaspir raining shots down from above, they pretty much have full dominance for Northern Lights. Even Latex getting on the board with the kill on the Dance, and Samsung Morningstar's blue might have to relinquish here.
Yeah, they're probably going to have to relinquish. Left's going to definitely go down right now very quickly, so that's going to probably be the point for them. Kasperi definitely bringing prominence to this fair that we didn't see happen on Volskaya, doing so much damage. Has that barrage already, and just look at the ult economy here for the side of Team Northern Lights. So many ultimate almost online for them, about to have a 6-pack.
Yeah, they've been working out here. They've got those abs. They got the 6-pack about to go. Latex, though, with an Earth Shatter, and almost overkill at this point here, but they're just trying to eat away at the distance that Samsung Morningstar Blue, Stars Blue can cover here. They're going to have to be pushed back, though, by the Dragon Strike. Yeah, they're not going to contest that, so Latex might actually not get out in time. Yeah, his shield was low, and he was just hopping away. Line Pro batters him, and then here's the Dragon Surge combination. But the Transcendence comes out just in time by Dance, so it keeps everyone alive throughout the entirety of that ultimate combination. The defense, though, now without hesitation, going to push them onto the payload, so it's not going to get that much closer to the second checkpoint.
And that's why ult tracking in this game is such an important thing that we don't really talk about too much. But Dance there had that ultimate, had that Transcendence ready, and unfortunately for the side of Team Lights, you should know that he has it, and you can't just throw out that Dragon Strike combo if you don't have the ultimate with the Transcendence, because it's not going to be able to do anything. He's just going to be able to heal through it. So really good play there coming out from Dance to stop all of that damage, because that was a fat graviton.
That sound barrier from Ginny, not enough to keep the team alive. And it will be the Transcendence coming out from Dance that comes out on top. So a nice pick from them. 3 minutes and 48 seconds up on the clock as Leo picks up big one, and that payload now moving through towards that last corner of the second phase of King's Row. We're going to be moving on, and right now the defense just biding their time, waiting for that last engagement on the second checkpoint, waiting until everyone gets back. They get in position here. Luft is about to get the Earth Shatter, but the Dragon Strikes, they force them towards that right side corridor. Someone has to go and touch it just in time. Luft gets there, 1.23 meters remaining. Has the Earth Shatter, kind of jockeying in position for it. Line Pro goes to the charge, but they don't get it. Dragon Strike, though, is going to come right in, not using the Earth Shatter still, waiting on it and waiting on it. Big one gets a Stormbow. There it is, Earth Shatter. It only finds Latex, but the Fire Strike will get the kill. And they burn 2 ultimates. They do get, not too many kills off them, but it's just enough to win the point and win the checkpoint. Defense will hold on with just a point, just like millimeters away.
And this is like the worst part. This is probably the worst place to get stalled at, because you have to walk so far and you're going to get zoned off so much by the defensive team to get to that payload there. So unfortunate that they weren't able to just push it over that line. So they're going to have to regroup here for the side of Team Northern Lights. They do have the Graviton ready. They don't have that Galactic Dragon Surge combo rather that we usually see, but they do have the Barrage that they could use.
They're trying. Oh wow, a very far barrage from Kaspir, because gets in just in time for Dragon Eddie to get cut down. Yeah, it's surprising he didn't get really picked off there either. But big one will finally get just desserts. Oh, an Earth Shatter. Riverboat gets the kill on the Line Pro. That Leo scoops up the second knockdown. Exarath also gets on the board. Been a little quiet here, but Exarath not going to be outdone. Gets 2, and that payload will find the second checkpoint.
Yeah, and it was a little bit of a kind of like not really the cleanest ultimate combo there with the Graviton and the Farah Barrage. Farah was just a little bit too far away. And there was also that walkway there blocking a lot of the rockets, but they managed to get the couple of kills they needed to push this further. And now they have a Dragon Strike ready, and they don't have the Graviton just yet, but they might just use it here.
No Dragon Strike waiting. A Graviton, though, they're going to use Luft's Earth Shatter. He goes right into their face and Earth Shatters them, though. The hammer is really going to bludgeon some nails out here. Now a Dragon Strike coming through right onto the payload. Extrath finds Line Pros. They try to get out of dodge. And Zekro will get the res into Leo. Both teams trading kind of evenly here. Luft, though, swinging away on Latex. So there's the bubble on them. Has to be careful. Leo trying to get supercharged, but only able to maintain about a 15% right now. So not getting too many dividends off that. There's the charge in. Trying to get rid of Luft, though, as they find themselves in the backup pocket. Trying to help out Latex. But Latex can't get out in time. And now they have to fall back here. Samsung Morningstar's Blue pushing up hard. The offense of Northern Lights scrambling for some more kills here. They're just trying to keep their bodies alive. There they go. And that Riverboat, with a kill, goes in and capitalizes with the Dragon Strike. They've cut off Dance for the rest of the team. So now it's up to Najani to keep Dragonetti alive. And Line Pro. Line Pro gets shut down. Najani cannot get there in time. And now he's separated from the team. He's going to get staggered. And now Kenobi, it's not looking good here. Northern Lights gets a bunch of kills and going in forward.
Yeah, they're just playing some vanilla Overwatch right now. This Pharmacy combo, a combo that has stood the test of time since the game has been out, and it looks like it's worked great so far. Graviton comes up, only gets one with the Fair Barrage, not actually getting much, gets slapped.
Ooh, that was absolutely... Oh, he gets knocked off. Dragonetti gets pulsed off with the right click from the Zarya onto Latex. Latex dives and dips into that hole there. Now Leo knows. Leo with 3 huge. And that was off the 1 kill off Latex. Converts into another 3 kills. Leo going off right there with the Zarya as everyone else is focused on the remainder of the team. And Northern Lights picks up 3 points.
Yeah, Leo there showing that, proving his dominance there of who's the better Zarya coming out from this team, coming out from Northern Lights there at the end there, getting that 3K to push his team over that finish line. And great play here coming out from Northern Lights. They definitely need that kind of type of play to win this map. Minute 43, very good time. Usually you could get, usually unless you roll, you get around by like the 3-minute mark and stuff like that. But this is definitely a good amount of time that they have left. And, Samsung Blue has to really just bring it here on this last point. Looks like they're going to probably bring out this double sniper comp. So interesting to see that.
Yeah, the game plan might just to be here to get some really quick picks. And like you said, Northern Lights, they posted, minute 43, which not the goal, but definitely, not ideal, but definitely still workable, right? So now Samsung Blue knows the bar that they've been set or has been set, and they're going to try and look for a very quick, push to try and get like a solid amount of time over Northern Lights, and then likely kind of just like win the war of attrition in round 3 and round 4. Just using the time bank advantage they built for themselves. That might be the game plan going here for Samsung Morningstars Blue. Of course, it is easier said than done. Northern Lights might shut them down again. We've seen how effective Northern Lights can be, especially on like an escort portion of a map on playing defense, as we saw in Dorado. So we might see more of that. Samsung Morningstars Blue definitely have their work cut out for them here, but they're going to see and give their attempt on offense. They do have to deal with the Riverboat, Hanzo, Kasperi on the Junkrat, so they're still, Northern Lights still loves running this, double DPS composition and no Brigitte, so, not entirely meta here, but Northern Lights loves playing their game.
Yeah, they switch out the Pharmacy because you usually don't see this Pharmacy on the defensive end. It's usually just on attack on King's Row. But I like that Kasperi has brought out this Junkrat, going to be able to shell out a lot of damage here. The only unfortunate thing is it might be giving Dragonetti a lot of charge, which, as we've seen, Dragonetti very good in his own right as an off tank, so look out for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone you want to be watching out here for. And now going to push up. Going to be Samsung Morningstars Blue, just edging out outside the point. But again, Exarath gets on the board early. We've seen so much from the Zenyatta and continues to not let us down, though. Dragonetti gets actually shut down by Riverboat, who sneaks in through the front desk of the hotel. Kasperi also getting rid of Luft on the concussion mine explosion. And then Exarath getting rid of Najani, who tried to also do a little bit of, dealing with the flank and then get cut down too.
So another thing that's really good about this composition is how fast you can melt Ryan's shield. Luft went in there and lost shield almost immediately, and that's a huge stagger on line. They're probably not going to go in on this. They're going to have to wait, but their shield breaking potential for this comp is absolutely huge.
Yeah, this is right now Northern Lights. This is almost what we, expected just a little bit here. They are holding on very strong on defense, and not only that, they have the Riptire that can shut things down. They have a Transcendence from Extrath, no surprise there. That's about to be built up, but really, we're looking for that Dragon Surge combination, which isn't ready just yet. Here comes the Riptire from Casphere, trying to shut down this fight before it gets going and give Riverboat and Leo just a little bit more time to build an ultimate charge. And there, Latex actually steals the kill, gets rid of Luft, and then Casphere kills Najani. So there, a nice 2-3 kills, a 6v3 situation, 5v3, but that's not enough to push this and push the envelope for Samsung, or they're gonna fall back again.
Yeah, Najini and Lion Pro were up in the high ground in that little archway there, in that little, and then Kasperi just walks in. Oh, I see a farm enclosed encountered room. Double mine. They're both gone out of that fight, so definitely not a place you want to be if you're the side of Team Samsung Blue. Make this pharmacy work with just that infinite skybox. Just play those lines. It doesn't even matter. Riverboat's gonna kill him anyways.
Yeah, you hate to see that kind of thing happen. Riverboat just paddling all the way to a kill there. Lion Pro forced to use the res. Get it right back. Here's the Dragon Surge. And there it is. Both teams using it. Both dragons dueling. But it is Northern Lights that gets up ahead with 4 and 5 kills. They just had the stronger dragon type there. And they hit for super damage. An absolutely miraculous play that comes out for Northern Lights win.
So I have no idea what happened there. My only guess is that Kasperi was able to just shell out so much damage from that Junkrat onto the Graviton that was coming out there for the side of Team Northern Lights instead of the one that was coming from Samsung Blue, and was just able to kill everyone there. And unfortunately, there wasn't the same follow-up from Samsung Blue. So great play there. And that was like basically both mirror ultimates at the same exact time. Transcendence, Dragon Strike, and Graviton all at the same time.
Well, you know that's the thing about dragon types. They do super effective damage against one another, so you gotta expect that. Casphere with the Riptire finds Dragon Eddy also going down. Dragon types finding their weaknesses here, getting a little cold-shouldered. Casphere with another kill onto Lion Pro. Definitely a big player out here. Gotta watch out for this Casphere Junkrat. But then if you're worrying about the Junkrat, you gotta worry about the Hanzo too. Riverboat and Casphere going off, trying to outdo each other with these kills. Northern Lights holding on stalwartly on defense.
Yeah, Kasperi's just putting everyone in a Pokeball right now on the side of Team Samsung Blue, just getting everyone. Doesn't matter who they're switching to on the offensive DPS side. He's just making sure they're all going down. Great job from Kasperi here, using that tire to finish off that Zarya in that next fight. He's going to be looking for another one.
And Dance does have the Transcendence. Oh, but gets cut down by Riverboat. They definitely needed that to go into this next fight. That's huge. A big crucial loss there for Samsung Morningstar's Blue. Luft's going to try and make the most of it, going in with an Earthshire, but they're also low. And there's a Dragon Strike going right down their face. Though, nice big one. Gets 1 kill. Najani, though, with the barrage. That was super clutch. And the Widowmaker plus the Farah. That's 4 kills for Najani. They're not done just yet. Samsung Morningstar's Blue get it just in time. And they've captured point A.
And finally, the ults start to come online for the side of Team Samsung Blue. They're able to get it done, and then, they were just able to, win that fight. Such a great fight on the 11th hour. And, Najini, who hadn't been playing this Pharah very well, ends up getting that huge barrage at the end there. Great play. Is going to switch back over to this Lucio here. Interesting pick there. They're just going to keep with Big One on this solo DPS. So interesting to see what's going to come out from this team here.
Still not a ton of time here, only 2 minutes, so like this could definitely be held by Northern Lights. So it'll be up to Samsung to get an early advantage, but no, it's Riverboat and Latex taking that opportunity first and doing so through an extra Wrath Transcendence. It's a nice heads-up play there to give the team coverage and allow them to do work.
Now they're just going to do a little bit of spawn camping here on the side of Team Northern Lights, going to push their advantage the best they can, make sure they can eat off as much time off of this clock as possible. Luft is getting shelled right now by everyone on the other side. They can't even make it out of spawn Rapture. What is happening to Samsung Blue here?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is safe for work, this kind of action right now. Somehow they gotta get their way out of spawn, and Northern Lights just saying no. And Leo is sitting on the Graviton, so literally the second they step out, they're gonna get sucked up. They're gonna get the big suck, so we'll see how they can deal with that. There's the rally coming out. Lion Pro trying to get things going here, forcing up on the front line, but he's super low already. He only has so much shielding left. Now Leo, super low. Luft and Big One, though, coming up big ones. And Dance also with Lion Pro there, bolstering that back line. So just like that, Northern Lights gets wiped immediately, and that payload gets going.
Yeah, Kasperi went down there, could have, tried to counter the Graviton the best he could, but was able to go down on that first point. The Graviton is gone, but Dance does still have his Transcendence for this Dragon Strike combo that's going to be coming out in this next fight most likely. But this is last fight territory here for them, Rapture. They need to really just pull this one through with a very, very heavy ult disadvantage.
Yeah, it's Luft and Dance. They're the only ones on here, but we could get that Dance sentence here with the Earth Shatter, but they got to make something happen through the Dragon Surge combination. And Riverboat and Caspier shutting them down. Luft unable to get most off that Earth Shatter, but he does block the Latex Earth Shatter. Luft has to fall back, though. They don't want to use and waste up that much time, but no, Dance and Luft both get staggered there. Unfortunate. Now 15 seconds remaining here, Kenobi.
Yeah, we have a replay as we're going to see, you know, this Graviton Surge come out, but they need to really go. They are not close to this payload. Nagini's going to try and run the best he can. 6 seconds left to get onto the payload. It's just a Lucio. He goes down, and that's probably going to be it. Northern Lights is going to tie this one up, Rapture. We're going to Game 5.
We're going to a Game 5, baby. We're going to a tiebreaker here. Don't let that screen fool you. We're going to a map 5. Northern Lights bringing it back in style. And Xrath getting up right there. We're ready to go. I'm excited for a map 5 here. And honestly, Kenobi, what a great map. But Northern Lights, again, just popping off on defense.
Yeah, Northern Lights has just been absolutely great on these defenses that we've seen so far. And, you know, something I really like from them was their ultimate usage coming out. You know, they were very patient with their ultimates, only using them when they absolutely needed to. And like we saw in that play of the game, Graviton versus Graviton, Transcendence versus Transcendence, Dragon versus Dragon. It was just an absolutely mess of an ultimate there that we saw coming out from all of them. But you're getting a Game 5 Rapture, and I'm so excited to see these two teams. And I think they definitely deserve it. This is definitely a series that should be going to a Game 5.
You took the words right out of my mouth. This is such an amazing set between two of these teams that are pulling out all the stops, that are playing so well and just won't let go without a fight. So why not? Let's go to a tiebreaker. But this is what I was talking about earlier, is now we've already seen Control. We've seen how it can go down. And now we're going back to Control for another tiebreaker. So it could, you know, we might already know how this is going to go down, but I'm not counting anybody out. Both of these teams have worked so hard for 4 maps, and to go to a 5th map is definitely indicative of how strong both of these teams are and how evenly matched they are. And no surprise that both of them have made it to Contenders Trials, because they definitely deserve it. They're definitely at that level. But we can see who's going to come out on top here in winners finals here of the Open Division Season 2 EU playoffs, which has just been so great. Thank you all for tuning in with us for this coverage so far.
Yeah, thank you.
We even have more maps coming after this, which is pretty big. But this is still winners finals. Not done just yet, so don't get ahead of ourselves. And we are going into hopefully it definitely is. We're going into our next map. It is our 5th and final map of winners finals, and we're going to beautiful Ilios. Kenobi, are you ready for this tiebreaker?
I'm definitely ready for it. As we saw on that first control, very, very close. Could have been a 2, but I think it was then Lights 2. Samsung first one came back from like 1 to 99. It was just a crazy map in general. So we're gonna be seeing. We're going to be seeing what's coming out from these two teams here. I think we're going to see Pharmacy again, probably coming from Casperi, especially on Ruins here. Mm-hmm. We might see the Widow, but I think they're going to maybe just stick to Comfort. No, he's going to be on Junkrat. I actually don't know. I shouldn't be talking about this because I'll just commentator curse it anyways.
Yeah, talking about picks and spawn, you're barking up the wrong tree there.
Worst idea.
You definitely are. So, whew. All right, I think we need to see. Ilios has some really nice breezes, so I think that's what we need right now, a nice cooling breeze. But both of these teams are on fire right now. Going into Ilios 2-2, Northern Lights went into the set perfectly, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. Samsung Morningstars Blue said, nah, son, we're taking 2 maps off you, possibly 3. Samsung Morningstars Blue, a team that might, one of the stronger teams in here. They fought through some really strong sets against the likes of 1 point, the likes of Augment and Authority. And now both teams have worked their way to map 5 of winners finals here for playoffs, Open Division Season 2 EU. And both these teams want to walk away here with a win. And honestly, who could blame them? Because these teams have fought so hard. To come out of this with a loss would be definitely devastating. But nonetheless, what an amazing set between these two. It all comes down to Ilios. We're going to Ruins for our first one. And yeah, we see some slight adjustments from both of these teams here. We do have Samsung Morningstar Blue. They are in the red again. So they're they're in red, but whatever. At least we know that, so that's good. Northern Lights is in the blue. They're going to be pushing up here with, again, that slightly modified dive, going with the Junkrat and Hanzo.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried for the side of Team North Lights here that they do not have a Widow, because the big one is going to be able to farm very safely in the backline here unless Riverboat catch him. And Riverboat is doing a good job of winning the ground game so far. Not worried about any Widow. He's going to be the carry this game. Riverboat getting that 3K.
Yeah, this is no surprise from these players. Latex also not going to be outdone, gets rid of Line Pro. So there we go. First capture going the way of Northern Lights.
Yeah, and you know, it's going to be interesting to see. Riverboat does have this Dragaton, not Dragaton, Dragon Strike.
Dragaton, I love that.
Dragaton,
Love
maybe
that.
that's what we'll call the other one. But he has this
Dragaton.
Dragon Strike. We'll see if he's going to use it to zone or if he's going to try and get a couple of picks here. Maybe just stall slightly. Looks like that's what he's going to do. It's not going to catch anyone. And oh, Riverboat's just going to play Vanilla Hanzo. You know, why use the Dragon Strike when you can just shoot someone in the head with an arrow?
See, I want some of that cookies and cream Hanzo, you know? Vanilla's good. Maybe vanilla bean Hanzo. I'm about that one. Dance throws down the Transcendence, but Exarath and Latex will just wait it out, get some kills there, and oh, there's a big boop, and yeah, there you go. See you later, Dance. You're gonna go down there for the count. So Northern Lights still holding strong here at 45, and I gotta say, the Dragaton, I love that, because you guys love to say the Galactic Dragon, which,
Yeah.
you know, Dragon Surge, that's
Dragaton.
but Dragaton.
Yeah,
Whew,
Dragaton.
good
Okay,
lord.
we got it now. A
Love it.
mistake turns into something great, as we're going to be calling
I mean,
it.
those are the best things that have been
Yeah.
created by mistake, you know? Penicillin, you're right up there with penicillin.
Oh, yeah, I like to be right next to penicillin.
That's what I think of. When I think of Dragaton, I think of penicillin. But here we go. Riptire, Graviton also being thrown down here. It's a very deep Dragaton, Graviton surge, but Gaspir is the one who comes out on top. Gets two with the Riptire. And the kill feed here going entirely for Northern Lights. They have come for blood, and right now they're lapping it up. They're at 80%.
Yeah, I think that might have been just a Kobe Graviton at the end there. You know, just they were going to switch. Didn't really get anyone. Only got Latex on the Winston there. Had to pop Primal, but Zekor still has this Valkyrie. Has had it for basically the entire map so far. And just the ult economy here for Northern Lights just outclassing that of Samsung MS.
Ooh, Dragon Strike coming right in, but it really only goes towards spawn, and that doesn't do much to dissuade this other team. Even they're gonna throw down their own Dragon Strike, not gonna find anyone either. There's a self-destruct from above, and again, another failure there. Leo, though, gets a D-neck onto Dragon Eddy, so at least it was worth something, as Dragon Eddy gets cut down by Riverboat on the outside of it. Out overtime, ticket away here. Northern Lights, they are just dominating the skies right now, and the ground. Leo gets two, Latex gets one. Northern Lights, there it is. First round, they are one round away from taking winners finals here, Kenobi.
Yeah, one round away, and they definitely have the momentum. There's just the way they ended that last map on Kings Row, the way that they've been playing the first part of Ilios here on Ruins, just absolutely stellar play coming out from them all around. And we're going to be going to Weld for our second map, and look out definitely for this ball and chain combo. Some boofs are going to happen. Kasperi is going to probably go back over to the Pharah, as Pharah Mercy on this map is absolutely.
We'll see. Will this play in Samsung Morningstar's blue favor here? Can they pull off the little bit of a Roadhog Orisa combination here? We'll see. I was coming up with a cool name for their combo, but it was not appropriate, so I didn't say it. It's all good. Northern Lights are going to keep going with their standard kind of divish, but they're actually running the Orisa Roadhog too. So yeah, neither team sticking with Winston Diva. They know it's at stake here. They can't risk it, and they probably know that a Brigitte they might be coming out, but neither team using it, so not have to worry about that. There's a hook though, and the first hook gets whiffed. The second one doesn't, as Dragon Eddy does get rid of Riverboat, but Exarath gets the revenge. And then Line Pro is able to res Dragon Eddy, so there's a slight advantage. Dragon Eddy gets pulled over the corner of the hole, but it's not enough to kill him. Latex, though, gets booped off by Najini and gets a concussive blast off, but the rest of the team's getting put down. Riverboat also finds Big One, and they're able to steal away the point from out under the noses of Samsung Morningstar Blue. Northern Lights takes the first capture.
So unless one of the Pharaohs can kill each other in the air battle, this map will come down to the ground battle most likely. Who can get the hooks, who can get the environmental kills, and so far it looks like a better job as of right now. Leo has had a couple of good hooks. Najini did get a boop there, but it just wasn't enough. So Samsung here has to just play a little bit better on the ground game.
That's definitely what they need to do, but they also got to worry about this. Well, at least the barrage coming out, they got to worry about keeping Najini alive, and unfortunately Kaspir will cut him down, but Najini does get two off that barrage, so that's definitely the leverage that this Samsung Morningstar Blue team needs to continue on to the point. But Riverboat is able to get rezzed here as Kaspir gets the kill into Line Pro, so no mercy for Samsung, and they have to worry about Riverboat. But they actually got to worry about Exarath. That's the Omnic you got to put your sights on there. Another kill onto Luff. Absolutely X factor here. Leo also gets rid of Dragon Eddy, and Northern Lights are making it look easy. They definitely have their sights on this win, and now they're 40% away from taking the game, the map, the set, and everything else.
Northern Lights is hungry for those Blizzard bucks that they're going to be getting if they
Oh,
win this
big
map. Absolutely stellar play coming out from them. And they have a 5-pack of ultimates right now. Not quite a 6-pack. Need to go to the gym just a little bit more. Have those 5 ultimates for this next push. No ultimates for the side of Team Samsung. They had to switch to a more divey comp here. Only have the Transcendence and the Dragon Strike to deal with.
Yeah, the late switch might hurt them in the end here. You're right. Very little Transcendence to work with. Very little ultimates to work with. It's just the Transcendence and the Dragon Strike. Caspier, though, barraging Luft as the Dragon Strike comes out from Riverboat, and now it's entirely Northern Lights on the point. A slight trade here, but Leo going down for the Roadhog means they have one less tank on the board. Not going to be able to bully their way up onto the point here, as Line Pro does get the res on the big one. We'll see. Can they get there in time? Samsung does slingshot their way up onto the point. Here's Northern Lights trying to melt them down in time. Line Pro skedaddling over with the monkey. Luft still stays alive, but Riverboat gets 2. The Spear fighting Luft, that could be it. Northern Lights is down in point. Riverboat for 3. He's going up.
He's got 4.
Overkill.
5.
Oh my God, he's going off, and Riverboat does it himself, gets 5, and gets winners finals. Northern Lights will take it 3-2, and they've gotten their ticket to grand finals. Congrats to them.
Riverboat there at the end, absolutely playing that momentum Hanzo, vanilla momentum Hanzo. I think it's probably going to be play the game here. Yeah, definitely right here at the end here is going to get a couple of kills right now. Gets 1, gets 2, 3. Winston, you're dead. Caspere also gets the kill, steals 1, steals that 6th kill from him. Unfortunately, Riverboat not getting the sextuple kill that he would like to have had, but great play there at the end there. And Northern Lights convincingly take Ilios and take that grand final spot.
What a set, absolutely. But props to Samsung Morningstar's Blue. They took maps off Northern Lights, forced them to a map 5. They didn't let them walk away with playoffs so easily. But of course, things are not over just yet. Samsung Morningstar's Blue drops to the losers bracket into losers finals. So they're still guaranteed a top 3 finish. But Northern Lights, though, have earned themselves a spot in grand finals. It was absolutely awesome. What an amazing set. Very happy you're able to join me for this one, Kenobi. We're going to throw it back over to the desk. Hope you all enjoyed it. We're going to see what the desk has to say about this one. How about you guys take it away?
I muted myself there for a second.
Nice.
We have a lot of things to talk about. That was an absolutely fantastic series. It went full 5 games, just as I wanted. Thank you for the present, guys. It was absolutely fantastic.
My hands are still sweating.
I was shaking through that entire thing. It was like, oh my God. I cannot believe the amount of frags that we saw come out there in the final final string of kills that was absolutely fantastic. So just to go back a little bit, let's backtrack because we have to build the whole story, get the whole way through. So Panda, we saw Northern Lights actually look really good on Volskaya. So what did they change to make it work really well?
Northern Lights, they had to take a immense series of adjustments coming in here. I mean, coming off of the previous maps, me and Blank, we talked about their loss of momentum coming off of Oasis, moving into Dorado, having a hard time coming into that. The adjustments had to continue to come through. It looked like an entirely different team. It looked like an entirely different team, to be completely honest. And when I say that, I mean, they were very reformed. They were regrouping. They were able to cycle through their ultimates very clearly. And they were checking flanks to shut them down when properly. And the one person on said flank rook was Line Pro. He was able to continuously go back and forth and jump in between those support line and DPS, but not this time around. They were able to shut it down. The adjustments were coming through so strong, in fact, that it almost felt like switching to Ryan and Zarya just felt like they were on much more practice when we thought that we were going to see a lot more dive.
So why in the end, Blank, did they end up losing out on that? Like, that was absolutely... I was watching that and going, Northern Lights have this. They're going to be up in game score. In game score. And I was so, like... I was on the edge of my seat, and then it just petered out.
Yes, we went over to Kings Row, right? They pull that one back up again. But again, on Volskaya, I don't think Northern Lights expected it. And this is something they've done a lot throughout the games, is that once you put Samsung Morningstar Blue on the back foot, right? Northern Lights, they start going a little bit harder, a little bit more revved up. They start going into 5th gear. When you're in the 5th gear, your steering's a little bit compromised, and that's exactly what happened. They went a bit ballsy sometimes. Some of the plays didn't pay off when they could have taken it a lot more patiently. They had the time there, right? They didn't have to go all in. They just had to pull it down. So maybe even if it was down at 1 minute and you just saved all 6 ultimates, went in, and everyone just pressed Q, right? Because you had time to do that. And sometimes Overwatch is just a game of just, you you press Q, you lost that fight. That's unfortunate. And they could have totally done. They had the time to do it. They chose to go in and make some crazy plays. And sure, Riverboat's an amazing handler, right? But he can't win you every single fight every time.
Mhm. So, is there anyone else that you might want to highlight from this Kings Row game, Panda? Just quickly, other than Riverboat, because we saw Riverboat throughout those entire series being absolutely amazing, fragging out all the time. As I said on Well, just being an absolute nutter.
I mean, sure, yeah, we could definitely talk about Riverboat going absolutely insane left and right. I mean, turning a arrow into an almost hit scan, and by how close the genie was getting to him. If I had to, if I yeah, if I had to highlight anybody else outside the hand soap wiping them clean, it would probably end up being just EXO. I mean, EXO was continuously just right there, landing orbs to face. If that's not a scary place to be in, and your best friend as Hanzo, so that way the Discord orb just punishes more damage. Why not, man? And you know me, everybody, y'all know me. I'm a support main. I'm gonna give it to him. You saw it coming.
So, in general, if we're going to go to the next map, we're going to go to Ilios, the one we saw finals on, which is just
Right.
so dominating. There's not a massive amount to look at there. It just Northern Lights kicked it up a notch and really blew them out of the water. Which position do you think had the most impact there? So support, tank, or DPS?
I think breaking through their shell would be a very minor way of putting it. They really came out strong, to your point, Rook. I mean, on Ruins especially, to not come out with a Widowmaker, I mean, that's ballsy. That you have to have a lot of cojones to come out
Gotta
there
be
without a
steel down
Widowmaker.
there, right?
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, you got to, and you saw the big one came out on Widowmaker, right? But Northern Lights were just like, nah, we're fine. We got Riverboat. He's just chilling on a boat, swinging down a river ever so kindly, and just comes up huge. The Widowmaker gets killed. I mean, the big one. I'm not saying that he's a bad Widowmaker at all. I'm just saying that he didn't show up to the plate. Unfortunately, there was a lot of sniper opportunities that were there, but they weren't picked up on. And even when we saw the big one earlier on Widowmaker as well, unfortunately didn't get the kills then. And that's exactly what Northern Lights wanted. They wanted that methodical play so that way they could just dive you and land a whole bunch of arrows to your face. Again, EXO being really, really good at landing orbs to face as well. And they played that methodical game. By the time that they tried to switch back to Line Pro's Brigitte composition, it was just too late. The ult economy was already heavily in the favor for Northern Lights, that they just had to cycle through their ultimates again. One of those great adjustments they took from the previous map, and they just, stuck around on it.
Mm-hmm. So to wrap everything up, I'm going to ask Blank first because it's been a while since you talked. Who is your MVP for the entirety of that series? Either team, doesn't matter, just one person.
Entire series, I get to fight. If it was just Ilios, I give it to Riverboat straight away. The man's amazing. He's got some damn good skills on that bow and arrow. But if we had to give it for that entire series, it had to be EXO Raf. Like, God, he came in hot ride, dude, every time. I think Panda's like touted him enough today, but
Yeah.
transcendence all over the place. It was insane. EXO Raf, you've gained my vote of confidence today. You've played extremely well in the Zenyatta, and I would not want to come near any of those steel cap boots that you're wearing at all on that Zenyatta.
Or those steel cojones as well, man. I mean, like that's one of the scarier parts about EXO Zenyatta as well, is that he's not afraid to take those 1v1s, and he was never pressured to do so. That even I got a quick moment, I believe it was on Volskaya, that I got to see a 1v1 in between Line Pro's Brigitte and EXO's Zenyatta, and he came out on top. I mean, like, come on now. I mean, you have to have tremendous grit to take that fight.
You certainly do. I mean, looking at him, he was just so impressive. We saw some good plays from Dance as well, but if you were to then pick someone on Samsung who, moving into their losers finals and maybe even grand finals, if they do make it back to this rematch, which would be an absolutely fantastic finals match to watch. So definitely come and watch that. Plug. But who would you choose to be the potential carry or someone who really needs to step up?
I'd probably still give it a Riverboat. I think Riverboat needs to continue to show up.
For Samsung.
Oh, for Samsung. Oh, for Samsung Blue. I mean, if I had to give anybody to Samsung Blue the open opportunity to show up time and time again, I think they need to go back to Line Pro's Brigitte composition and really reformat, not necessarily one person, but as an entire team themselves, formulating around that composition. I mean, there were moments when we saw a Junkrat trashing into an entire enemy composition, and they had a Lucio and Zenyatta. Now, you don't have to be a mathematician to think that that's just not enough healing to deal with that. I mean, you just have to go back as a team together and just regroup that composition and really go back to the drawing board full and come back with a stronger playbook.
So certainly that is true. They did get a little bit blown out of the water by the Junkrat. It was fantastic. One of the many things we saw throughout this entire series, and just such a brilliant series. Very excited to see how these teams progress, whether Northern Lights will make it into contenders. You can find out there will be contenders trials coming up, and that is all part of the Overwatch Path to Pro, which we are a part of, bringing you all of these brilliant matches. So at Broadcast.gg, the company, well, I think we're a company, the company who are here to do this broadcast, we help you grow as a broadcaster. We're constantly creating opportunities for exposure and practice like this one, and we're collaborating on resources to push esports forwards. So if you too share a love for esports, make sure you've joined up on our Discord. The link is in the panel below. And if you're a player, continue on with this Path to Pro. It helps us find brilliant matches, and we get to see brilliant players, and that's all we really want. Thank you all very much for joining us today. We will be back in a little bit. Have a lovely afternoon.
Surge is definitely a win condition here for Samsung Morningstar's Blue. There might not be much of a response. Here it is, the Dragon Strike coming through, 3 caught in, but the kills are not coming in enough. They're just gonna get raw kills outside of it. While Caspier found 1 kill off the Riptire, but certainly not
Going to be a series that we're going to have here, Rapture. I mean, it was a very close map, 2-1. What more could you ask for? We got the 3 maps there, got to see a bunch of interesting compositions as we're going to see the Zenyatta play of the game here. Not something you see too much unless you're, Jay Jonak on that Zenyatta.
It's up here, but Dance with the kill on extra. That's definitely going to help things. The Coalescence is going to be ready in a jiffy now. Casperi though with the barrage right up above, and there's very little to do against that. A 2K on the barrage, big one in line pro, healing the absolute brunt of that.
Capability, the healing is just so huge coming up from that Coalescence. Just focused on one person. Lux is able to stay alive throughout that play.
Dragon Strike coming in, there's no defense. Matrix waiting for him, gets 2, and the big one, as they were throwing down the high noon, check with defense. Samsung Morningstar's Blue are holding very solidly right now.
Yeah, Riverboat is in the, the Line Pro is in the back line. They're trying to get the supports off them, but a huge Diva Bomb, 2.5K. That's going to put an end to this push. Understands exactly what they want to do here. They're like, okay, you have a Pharah, it does not matter. We're going to try and win the round game here with Line Pro on the brink of getting that huge pick onto the Diva immediately. Casperi is going to pull out that barrage and get Line Pro, get another as well. So maybe
the line drive down mid, and it's separated Northern Lights for a little bit. Latex and Leo still on the point, finally going to get pocketed by Zekro, or having to pop the Valkyrie. Riverboat, Luck gets rid of him. Overtime ticking away. Here's a Dragon Strike from Riverboat from downtown, cutting right. Careful how deep they go in. Now in the high. Oh, the EMP gets struck down and Casperi finds Luck. That could be the huge difference maker here. That also throws down the self-destruct. A Dragon Strike. Desperation's big one, but there's barely any bodies left on the point. They have to get back there. The defense will not let go. Line Pro just goes, no, back in. The grave are going up left and right. Overtime, 1.89 meters remaining. Only 1 body left at the point. It's just the big one.
They got it
down, and they got it. Northern Lights. And here comes another Dragon Strike. They hit gold there, and Riverboat again strikes it. Gets rid of Luck. Reinhardt not having enough mobility. Oh, Casperi though. We've seen a lot of mid-air kills onto this Pharah here. Line Pro getting the res onto Luck, and here's the Riptire from behind. Casperi gets 2. Line Pro and Dance killed by the Riptire. And this Samsung Morningstar's Blue here are getting, they're just having way too much trouble pushing up, even hiding behind the market. Now Ginny with the barrage. Unfortunately, Leo didn't have the Matrix there in time to save Latex, but they finally get it there. Nevertheless, the kills are coming the way of Samsung Morningstar's Blue, and just in time too, as Leo will try to stagger a little bit and get 2.
Northern Lights definitely, coming back up after losing that first map, maybe a little bit hard done by being up like basically 1 and 99%, and they come back and they were able to take this one pretty convincingly too with their composition.
Morningstar's Blue, they got to kind of get out, put a wedge under them and kind of get some leverage. They're going to do just that by pushing up on the high ground too. It's all been high ground push here. Both these teams. Here we go. Luck is just breaking away right through. I think his shield's not broken. Latex cuts him down. He takes down Dance too. Helps get rid of the Tracer, but it's not actually enough to do much more after that. They have to rely on Riverboat and Leo for the Dragon Strike and Self-Destruct respectively to get the kills. But still, Northern Lights, they don't have a huge advantage on the point. They do have to deal with this Diva. They have Northern Lights. Northern Lights is looking really strong. And a Transcendence. They also have the EMP waiting. So even if Samsung commits, they can get bodied. There it is. EMP coming down. A Self-Destruct, though, from Dragon Eddie, though, from down deep, gets 2 off the backboard. Overtime taking away a 64. Now we're going to see a little bit of an aggressive play from Samsung. They see now, and they have gotten Northern Lights a bit split up here. They're going to go right in. Casperi trying to salvage. He gets pocketed, goes for 2, gets 2 with the barrage. Big one and Dance going down. But isn't going to be enough to win the fight here. Casperi has a monkey and Dance going down. 76 shot in this meta. You better get back to the roster. You better get back to character select. Here's a Dragon Strike coming through from Big One. And another down now from Riverboat. And that's one Big One gets with Riverboat, unfortunately, unable to do the same. Now Self-Destruct from Kenobi. Can Northern Lights get back in time?
I'm not sure if they can get back. Maybe, possibly, their Mercy might be able to get back. Winston might be able to. The Line Pro is going to zone out here with that shield. And, again, at the 11th hour, they're able to take this
match set point. So it's a little bit on the stakes here for this. Is Northern Lights now on offense. They get that first kill. Extra-Wrath, I keep forgetting which class he in DPS support, because he's getting first bloods left and right. Finds Luck, forces out the res from Line Pro, but there's still a 65 situation. Second Strike comes out, finds Big One at the end of killing the Leo. There's nowhere to go. Riverboat gets another one on Dance too, and the defense is forced to go down mid, but they have a Graviton, thankfully. That was huge. Dragon Eddie need to have that Graviton because they might have gotten absolutely
beginning. They lost point A very quickly, but that defense was just absolutely huge. And unfortunately, for the side of Team Northern Lights, they just weren't able to figure out what DPS they could use to figure out, how to break this line and how to break all that AoE healing coming out.
Still on Dance, and Samsung Morningstar's Blue might have to relinquish here.
Yeah, they're probably going to have to relinquish. Luck's going to definitely go down right now very quickly, so that's going to probably be the point for them. Casperi definitely bring prominence to this fair that we didn't see happen on this guy doing so much just yet, but they might just use it here.
No Dragon Strike waiting. A Graviton, though, they're going to use Luff's Earth Shatter. He goes right into their face and Earth Shatters them, though. The hammer is really going to bludgeon some nails out here. Now a Dragon
that has stood the test of time since the game has been out, and it looks like it's working great so far. Graviton comes up, only gets 1 with the Fair Barrage, not actually getting much, gets slammed.
Ooh, that was absolutely, we get thing happen. Riverboat just paddling all the way to the kill there. Line Pro forced to use the res. Get it right back. Here's the Dragon Surge. And there it is. Both teams using it. Both Dragons dueling. But it is Northern Lights that gets up ahead with 4 and make the most of it, going in with Earthshire, but they're also low. And there's a Dragon Strike going right down their face. Though nice big one gets 1 kill. Najee, though, with the barrage, though, super clutch. The Widowmaker plus the power. That's 4 kills for
do to